Hello, GGLeagues gamers! I'm Leche, joined by DJ yet again for another exciting game of League of Legends. This time, though, the stakes are just as high, but the elos are higher. So I'm expecting some pretty elevated play compared to yesterday, where it seemed like at any point in the game, anything could happen. Hopefully some more methodical play. I know it's the color. You'd probably prefer that a lot more. But I'm excited to get into this draft.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a game tonight in Illinois Division A between UHD and NOTA. UHD Gators coming in at the 2 seed, NOTA in here at the 7 seed. So we'll be excited to see what NOTA can pull out. We've already seen a couple of upsets. Our game yesterday, I believe, was a 3 and 6 seed, and the 6 seed came out on top. So we have seen some upsets running around the playoffs here in GG Leagues, both in Illinois Division C and B. So we'll be excited to see if NOTA has come up with some strategies for this playoff run.
Yeah, and I certainly do expect it, as we were talking earlier about how crazy last night's game was. Now we're back to some normal bans so far, getting the OPs off the table. Ashe is gone. Graves is gone. Just, you know, the classics. So I am a lot happier with how this is going so far, but I do think with that Ashe and Graves ban signal, and now this MF ban, is as the AD pool gets smaller and smaller, we need to keep an eye on how quickly these champs are picked, because if one more AD ban comes through, I mean, right now, what are the strong ADs that are still in the pool? Aphelios, Ezreal, and Senna, right? So we have to keep our eyes on where those are going to be picked, or if counters may be prepped for them.
Absolutely. Do keep in mind that the Caitlyn now probably rising in priority was watching the Freak Show earlier today. Apparently has risen very high in win rate in both low and high elo, but yes, will get banned away there. So don't want to deal with that one on the side of NOTA.
Yeah, even though sometimes 5 or 10 movement speed buffs and nerfs are a bit of a meme, when you have a range as long as Caitlyn's, when you're flat AD and your movement speed is buffed, you become oppressive in the laning phase, and that's exactly what happens as Shen is the first pick coming through from UHD. This champ also, ever since the small buffs on his shield, has become one of the premier tanks, a kind of class that really was before dominated by Ornn. Maybe we'd see a Scion every once in a while, but now that Shen is here, the global pressure he has across the map adds some more flavor to a lot of these games. And speaking of global pressure, Karthus, the jungler who doesn't even have to gank.
Yeah, and Leche, these guys are making the casters on the LCS desk very, very happy. Kobe, a big fan of Shen Jungle, was talking about it yesterday on the dive. This is probably Shen top lane, but they were mentioning how good this pick is becoming into a lot of melee matchups. All interesting to see it taken so early, considering you can still counter pick into it. You know, range top laners like Kennen, who is rising in priority, are still tough for Shen, but is going to be very strong in those melee matchups. And meanwhile, Karthus is just absolutely busted across all elos right now. His damage is so high after the buffs meant for his jungle, for his mid lane have allowed him to just kind of become oppressive in lane. And potentially in jungle if played well. So this is kind of a flexible pick here on the side of NOTA, as this could go mid lane or jungle, or potentially even bot lane if they're feeling a little spicy.
And right now, you have no idea where this Karthus is going. So many flexible picks. Follow Bear, top jungle, set, top jungle support. Karthus as well, mid bot, jungle. You have no idea where these picks are going. Meanwhile, over on UHD, everything is stock standard. You've got Shen going up in the top lane, Rengar in the jungle, and Kai'Sa definitely going to be in that bot lane. We were talking earlier about how if you don't pick up your AD in these first few rounds, it is going to be pinched so heavily. Because right now, if you ban out the Aphelios, if you ban out, for example, Kog'Maw, who's been very, very strong recently and is an incredible pick into Kai'Sa, your AD pool is getting pretty short. So I want to see what Earthrider Evan is going to be going for in this draft.
Yeah, absolutely. One good thing on the side of NOTA, as we mentioned, that Karthus, you know, as a last resort or as a plan, could be a bot laner. But yeah, the AD pool very, very thin here already with that Kai'Sa selected. They do know their matchup, but will be forced to potentially dig somewhere they're not quite comfortable with for this bot laner, Earthrider Evan.
Yeah, and now it's going to be probably his turn to pick. I can't imagine you're saving AD for the very last pick. But I guess if they want to hold on to these flexes, they can. Because this Karthus still could be the bot lane, right? We were talking about how insanely flexible this champ is. And Honestly, it might be it, because it's definitely not going jungle now that Rek'Sai taking the jungle position, a champion that creates such a strong, potent mid and top 2v2, that I'm actually looking out for probably... I don't think it's going to be paired with this Karthus anymore. I do think this may be a Karthus bot, but that Rek'Sai very likely going to be paired with a potent mid lane champion in order to really help them get ahead. Yep.
We do see the Victor come in here on the side of UHD now. That will probably end up in the mid lane as well. So going to round out their draft here with a scaling mid laner. We'll see what they're picking. It looks like for their support position. But yeah, a lot of flexibility still on the side of NOTA here. Could go in a couple different directions. We've seen Set played mid lane. We've seen him play top lane. We've seen Volibear top. Haven't really seen him mid, so it'll be interesting to see what we get here in this last pick from NOTA.
Yeah, Taric is picked up for UHD. An interesting support pick when a lot of other champions who traditionally are considered much better are left open, but it's really going to be up to UHD support to prove his worth. And Nami is actually the pick that goes through. This is pretty much confirming that this is going to be Karthus bot. I don't know how I feel about that being paired with Nami, but that Enchantress definitely is going to put in a lot of work in the early game, making sure that Karthus stays nice and topped off in a lane that otherwise he may just be obliterated in. So I think the bot lane is going to be such a heavy focus in this game because Kai'Sa Taric do have so much kill pressure if they can even get in stun range of this Nami Karthus, which considering Kai'Sa's speed boost, she can pretty much just walk at him.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. I think it's quite interesting. We don't see this happen a lot, but it's a pretty volatile bot lane overall. You know, something that particularly at high elo isn't really looked for. I typically want to see something stable that can at least get you to mid lane fights or have priority for Drakes, which are so powerful in the meta right now. But will be interesting to see how these two lanes play out. We're coming to the end of draft here, so we are going to catch you on the backside of this caster break for game one between UHD and NOTA.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. DJ and I back on the caster desk as we were talking a little bit off air about how this set mid is. I'm actually a massive fan of it. You just kind of go Bomby, Cinder, Deadman's, and you run down the enemy laner. It doesn't even matter if it's Victor. But this phase rush also does kind of signal a bit more of an aggressive poise from him. He wants to get on this Victor. He wants to get early leads. So I'm really excited to see how this mid-jungle 2v2 plays out, because if Rek'Sai set get on Victor, the only way he's getting out is Flash.
Yeah, absolutely is the case there. Victor going to want to use the phase rush to escape, while D-Jock's going to want to use it to get the heck in there, basically against anyone he wants to fight. Should set up a pretty nice mid-jungle duo on the whole for NOTA here. You would imagine that is a little bit stronger in the early parts of this game than the Rengar and the Victor. So those two will probably be looking to avoid some of these early skirmishes, try to get to one item breakpoint, or at least our level 6s to be able to fight back, which should allow Rek'Sai to have whatever kind of priority he wants on this early game pathing, whether they want a split map or whether they want to try to go full clear and get into some early ganks here. But we will see how Jadkins handles that one.
Yeah, the only real issue with this Victor versus set for the set is, well, Rek'Sai's got to find some creative pathing to get on Victor, and if he doesn't, Victor's gonna be safe pretty much the whole game, because a set does a really good job of it, but your really only way of engaging is just walking at him, right? And if Victor can just lay down his W and say, the gravity field, and say, I don't really want you to walk at me, that's gonna be really difficult for D-Jocks to get off anything major in this early game. But now it seems like in the top lane, there's already a bit of a scuffle, and D-Jocks lands the Facebreaker onto AJ Uptown. Phase Rush, letting him stick on him, deal about half of his health, and those are trades that D-Jocks really likes to take. Victor doesn't really have the damage early to punish him for those. Plus, he's got so much regen the lower he gets, so this guy's really not going to die. And Jadkins, we were talking about a little bit of creative pathing, and I guess that was some of it.
Yeah, a little bit creative there. Just checking to see if AJ Uptown would greed for a little bit of farm there. Try to burn that Flash at level 2. Knowing he could go down still to his bottom side camps there, and we'll just do so as we get some more slapping up here in the top lane, but shouldn't amount to much. Both these champions pretty tanky, should feel pretty comfortable against each other. As we can see Solo coming in here to see Jadkins. Oh, and he's going to get bubbled up, actually.
Oh, yeah, he's caught out. He's trying to use the stun, but he might not have to peel Karthus over the wall, using that Defile to get as much damage as he can. And Jadkins is the one who picks up the first blood, 400 gold in his pocket. And as an early game Rek'Sai, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, really, really nice there for Jadkins. A little surprise, Solo DeVos not flashing that Nami bubble. Maybe thought it wasn't going to hit him, but ends up expending his flash anyway and still dying for it, as opposed to just flashing the initial CC. And that will give Jadkins, as you mentioned, a really, really nice start on this jungler who needs to make stuff happen in the early game.
Yeah. This Rek'Sai, we were talking a bit off stream.
Take a look at this.
He's about how Andrew Smurf. Oh my gosh, Andrew Smurf possibly caught out in the jungle. That exhaust is going to pay dividends, and he's getting lower and lower. D-Jocks walking at him. Jadkins, this mid-jungle 2v2, we were saying they might have some issues if AJ Uptown and Andrew Smurf can just play safe at the beginning, not get engaged on. But found in his own jungle, Andrew Smurf supposedly is like a monster on this Rengar, but he's got to find a way in because his jungle opponent right now is easily taking this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely is already sitting now with 2 kills donated by some help from his teammates. He will find AJ Uptown, but don't believe he has flash, so not going to be able to get on top of him. But looks like he's going to try to path up top here. Already has one scuttle.
Oh, the Facebreaker just brings him in range. AJ Uptown as well tries to dodge the knockup, and I don't think he does, but he's just keeps taking this fight. But the Haymaker does land some extra damage onto him. He's greeding a little bit. Now that AJ Uptown has no flash, no ghost though, Jadkins, who has been putting so much pressure on this map, making so much happen, he's coming back 100%.
Absolutely. As a hold on, we got an overextension in top lane, it looks like. Andrew Smurf might get involved here.
Yeah, he's looking for something, but Pre-6 Rengar pretty much has to play around bushes to get on people. Ducky didn't really manage to get a good engage onto Zilliancy, but did actually force out Zilliancy's flash. So, when you are Rengar, when you are Rek'Sai, you are looking pretty much for who has flashes to gank, right? That's kind of just jungle 101. So right now, the mid of blue side and the top of red side are both of the lanes that you really, really want to focus on. Get those people ahead, because if Shen starts having priority in this lane, Volibear, a strong side top laner, is now forced to play weak. That does not feel good.
That will not feel good at all. Will be probably forced to compromise on the build a little bit as well, but as we mentioned, this Shen getting stronger and stronger into these melee matchups as there's a little bit of action around topside. You can see the mid laner roaming in to get some vision, but it looks like Ducky will still be safe. One thing to mention there that did result from AJ Uptown having to burn his flash, though, is that it actually allowed the Rengar to not get double scuttled, which will feel pretty good for him after starting so poorly. It's hold on, resilience
getting
going
worse.
really low.
Ducky using that Grasp of the Undying and extra damage to get him real low, but then Zilliancy said, no, I don't really want to take this trade anymore. Stunned up Ducky, used PTA to get some damage back, and now he just walks out scot-free, but that was really scary because Andrew Smurf was walking right up, and although he doesn't have 6 yet, top lane on that top side, there are so many bushes that Rengar has some really creative dashes to, kind of weave in and out of that lane. But nice escape from Zilliancy.
Yep, absolutely is a nice escape. Will find himself down about 11 CS here as the Shen now going to take his recall. See if he does teleport back. Nope, looks like he will try to save that one. So should have some nice global advantage here as the Shen ultimate now is available and also will still have his teleport up despite Resiliency freezing this lane. So you can see some action now around the dragon as both teams trying to get some vision around this first Drake.
Yeah, both junglers are down here, so you know that they're looking for it. You know Rek'Sai wants it. As an early game jungler, think Rek'Sai, think Olaf. These are champs that really want these early dragons, right? That's how they scale. They scale by getting you the soul. So Jadkins just walking back and forth around this scuttle crab, waiting for the time to take Infernal Dragon. And that might be now. Andrew Smurf is heading towards his topside jungle.
Yes, he is, and not sure if they've spotted him yet. There is no vision down there, but Jadkins should feel pretty comfortable. We'll see if he does start this Drake up. Let's have some pressure on bot side. It looks like he might look for a mid lane gank instead. Guarantee this one.
Yeah. A bit of action around mid as AJ is now just getting back his ghost, so he's going to be able to be a little more aggressive, a little more flexible. But talking about that mid lane, Djox, he's got his Balmy Cinder. I was talking earlier about Balmy Cinder, Dead Man's Plate. It's kind of the spike for this mid lane champ because you can just run people down. So keep your eyes on that. This guy can get wave priority even against Victor pretty much any time he wants with a face breaker. But in goes Ducky. He's looking for resiliency. Will he be able to get out now? Here's Andrew Smurf using that ultimate, just jumping on him, picking up the kill. One more for the Bone Tooth Necklace.
Yeah, not even sure if that ult was necessary, but did want to make sure that one went down as they do finally pick up the return kill on that flashless Volibear that will give the signal to the side of NOTA that this dragon should be theirs with Rengar on the top side. And looks like Andrew Smurf realizing that it probably will be too late to that fight will just help Ducky push this lane in, put some advantage on that top side and give up this first Drake to the side of NOTA.
Yeah, and Ducky, because of that, he's also getting free time in this top lane. He's denying so much CS. That's probably 2 minion waves worth of XP, worth of CS, on top of the lead he had already generated. Plus that plate, Ducky feels so good right now. And having not only the TP advantage, but the Stand United advantage, with this wave in a perfect spot so he doesn't have to TP, feels so good for him. And one thing I do kind of want to point out is in the bot lane, Earth Rider Evan, this guy hasn't died yet, despite playing Karthus.
Yeah, no, he has not died at all. Is a little bit behind on CS, but still in a decent enough spot. His ultimate now up. Of course, that the absolute most important part of Karthus' kit. He does have some Skittles, and then a free kill everyone button, and that's about how it goes.
Yeah, that ultimate, team communication is always so important, but that ultimate, it's not even that hard. You just say, oh, I need to win this trade by 200 more damage, Evan! And, there's the one trade.
Yeah, the one thing to mention is I think maybe part of the reason, as you mentioned, this Taric not exactly a top of the line or top meta AD carry. One reason he might have been picked is Solo to Boss might be pretty confident that he can sort of time the Karthus ultimate. You can't obviously immune that for your entire team if you actually time your Taric ultimate correctly. Does take a little bit of know-how, as I don't believe those ultimate timers are synced up, so do have to use it at the right time with the Taric, but can just immune the entire thing.
Yeah, Zilliancy is just kind of trying to force out Ducky, but actually here goes Jadkins as well. 2 ultimates. The turret is ohm record, and here comes the Rek'Sai seeking out and getting the kill onto Ducky. 1,000 petals now as well. Not entirely sure what Andrew Smurf was doing that far under the turret, but he gets taken down as well. In this game, now I was going to start mentioning about how even though all of this early pro activity from NOTA was, kind of just defining the game, it's actually UHD that had the gold lead at the time, but now all of that proactivity, rears its head again, and now they're up gold.
Yeah, absolutely. They are able to have a successful dive here on Ducky.
Oh,
no.
There he goes, the Tiamat. No. Just enough damage. Ducky just comes in Mach 10 off that teleport movement speed, and now Soda the boss finds a stun onto 1,000 petals, but it might not even matter. When you don't have a hook champion, you don't have someone that can engage very hard, it's really, really hard to be able to take these down. Now Solo the boss is taken down, even though he has the Cosmic Radiance, he just didn't have time to proc it. DJ Docs whacking the turret instead of the AD as he dives below, but here is Ducky, manages to get off the taunt, and D-Jox gets taken down. Earth Rider Evan maybe looking for more. If he connected one more of those Skittles, he probably could have just Requiemed right there, gotten the kill onto Girolom, but luckily his fancy footwork got him out of it. That being said, things come up NOTA.
Decently for NOTA there, although they do, as you mentioned, as everyone always seems to do, forget the Shen ultimates. Always there in the back of your mind, but seems to never be on top of mind. And Shen comes in there, as you mentioned, D-Jox kind of missing the AD carry there, punching the turret a couple times instead. Leaves himself vulnerable to the taunt from that incoming Shen. Does get taunted up and donates the first kill over to Girolom, who actually continues to spread this lead out now, almost 30 CS now on top of this Karthus. So, despite the fact this Karthus does have his first item, Girolom knows that'll always be a threat, but we'll be feeling pretty good about his own power level as he already has Mana Immune and is working on the completion of that item.
Yeah, right now, Earth Rider Evan is definitely stronger than Girolom, but once Girolom finishes those 2 items, gets that Mana Immune Ginsu's, likely Nashor's Tooth after that, he's going to have so much damage, and with Tarkult, he's going to be able to dive into the back line and literally just 1v5 without being damaged at all. But really heads-up work so far, I think, by 1,000 Petals, neutralizing this Kai'Sa Taric lane that should have been able to play so aggressive early on as well, clearing out so much vision, making sure that Earth Rider Evan is able to scale up exactly as much as he wants. So, big heads-up for this Nami pick that I was definitely doubting in the draft, but, it's been coming up real good for him.
Has been going well so far. As you mentioned, Earth Rider will be pretty happy about the lane state overall, and Ducky just being annoying here to Resiliency is despite that successful dive they had, the Rift Herald not able to take the turret down, so Ducky's still building up a pretty sizable lead there, and will feel pretty comfortable doing whatever he wants to Resiliency at the current item state.
Jesus. Earth Rider Evan is just looking for more flash with the Taric stun, and here's Andrew Smurf using the Cosmic Radiance to give Girolom invulnerability, means that he can just dive into the backline pretty much unfettered. This is exactly what I was talking about. Now here's Zilliancy, who's been following and is looking for Andrew Smurf. Seems like he can get out, but no, the flash jump. That was so much damage from Resiliency. Girolom trying to get out, but the Killing Spite's going to slow him down. Knocked up and just slammed into the wall. AJ Uptown as well. He may have overextended here. He's looking for more, but he's going to find a kill on the Resiliency. Here's the Rek'Sai. Unstoppable, taking him down with all of that damage. And these fights are just so back and forth constantly, with so much global pressure on both of these teams, with the teleports, with the Stand United, although it didn't come up that fight. It just seems like both of these teams are playing so aggressively and also always on the dot in terms of these global calls.
Yeah, so far, everyone playing very cleanly right now. You can see sort of what that Taric can do to this bot lane. As Leche was mentioning pre-game, if he ever does manage to land a stun, does get that flash, and he was in trouble of dying originally, but flashes in, is able to connect the stun on the Karthus, and Karthus goes down really quickly with that Taric ultimate coming out. But yeah, Resiliency very quick on his teleport. You have Jadkins and D-Jox coming down as well, and NOTA able to handle that one very well. I believe they come out 4-4-3 in their favor and do manage to use that pressure to take the second Drake. So despite some pretty good movement there and a decent play from the side of UHD, it's answered very well by NOTA, and they continue to stretch just slightly this early game lead.
Yeah. the gold is pretty much even, and I do want to mention, despite, being 3 kills up, there's really only about a 200 gold lead. That being said, Rek'Sai has completely had her way with these dragons so far. 2 early dragons is exactly what you want to see, but the onus is going to start being on the rest of her team because Rek'Sai is only viable for so long in a game, unless she has the flash knock-up. But once they start to get that 3rd dragon and pressure the entire map and get so much global pressure, that means that Ducky's not just going to be able to be doing what he's been doing this whole game, where he just matches Zilliancy, tries to take plates, used to stand united. That's going to soon start disappearing, but just like AJ Uptown might start disappearing, his health bar gets lower and lower. Set takes him to the other side of the wall and the showstopper. Djox is just pretty much, although he hasn't picked up a single kill so far, has shown no mercy this game.
Pretty nicely done there to go after that Victor, using that set ultimate to knock him out of those 2 AoE circles he has and avoid getting stunned himself by the gravity well. So pretty well done there on the collapse by Djox and Jadkins, who, as you've mentioned, is just kind of running this early game, sitting at 5-0-1 on this Rek'Sai. And Rek'Sai does have a huge timer on his her kit in general. But when you got 5 kills on a Rek'Sai, you get a little bit of extra leeway and a little bit of extra time to make some stuff happen. You can absolutely just 100 to 0 any medium tank, like semi-tank or squishy champion pretty much instantaneously.
Yeah, and this could be the Edge of Night, but I think that they're building a Sage. Jadkins, we're going to have to see exactly how he itemizes. But yeah, just like you were talking about, this Rek'Sai so powerful early, and Jadkins has been abusing the hell out of that. 2 dragons already. The second one is going to be coming up in about 2 minutes. So just everybody, you got to keep your eyes out, because if you get 3rd dragon, Ocean Soul's just around the corner, and that is when Rek'Sai scales, right? That's when she gets the Ocean Soul, and her whole team, this Karthus, is going to be an absolute menace. So keep your eyes on that, as DJ is looking for AJ Uptown, just in the side lane, kind of abusing him, using the Haymaker to try and get the better end of the trade. But this is sort of when AJ Uptown starts to win those side lane trades, and we just saw it with our own eyes.
AJ Uptown now on his full hex core with those Sork shoes, and still well CS tier, so should feel pretty comfortable. And one other thing to mention that was happening while AJ Uptown was going down is Ducky ultimate back into the bottom lane and helped pick up another kill for this Kai'Sa, now sitting almost on her completed 2nd item, and Ducky's still really strong.
Yeah, he's getting low. In comes the ultimate from Volibear, trying to get that extra health, and Ducky is dealing so much, but this actually could be it. He's using the shield to try and protect himself more and more, but here's Jadkins, not even needed, just wanted to wash from the sidelines and eat some popcorn, as Zilliancy finally comes out on top in this top lane 1v1, and you have to be able to do that when Shen has so much global pressure. You have to be able to match him in that top lane and say, this is my fight.
Champ needs nerfed. Champ needs nerfed, Liche. That was pretty insane. He was pretty much dead there, even through his ultimate, and the healing on that W, and he comes out with more health than I think he started that fight with.
Yeah, maybe. The PTA is also definitely contributing a lot to these top lane fights, right? When you see Shen versus PTA Volibear, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, that's going to be pretty much impossible to proc, right? With all of the dodging that Shen can do around auto attacks. But Zilliancy's been playing around that quite well so far, and both of these teams, 20 seconds are on the Dragon, and I've stressed this objective a lot, and both teams seem to be doing it as well. Ducky is in the side lane, and here comes Djox. He's looking for somebody. He's going to use a Facebreaker and catch Solo to boss. He's getting burst out, but the Cosmic Radiance means that he can just keep walking forward. Zilliancy is trying to do something, but he doesn't actually deal any damage, and here comes the Showstopper, trying to disrupt even more and more. Jadkins takes down Solo to boss, and Girolam is looking for some more damage. The ADC needs to find it. Djox has such a massive shield, but here's the Requiem. Ducky goes down, and Girolam is low, but manages to find the Karthus. And AJ Uptown and Girolam are the only ones alive. They are the 2 carries, but I don't know if they're going to be able to contest this Dragon when Jadkins is the one with Smite. AJ Uptown is walking back the river with Girolam, and Djox just wants to stop them, using the Facebreaker, and actually dealing a lot of damage to AJ Uptown. Now, he's following him. Oh my god, he almost gets it, but AJ Uptown is now on a rampage, and that's going to have to stop Jadkins from taking this Dragon. But if Blue Side keep going for it, he might have to smite, but Girolam's getting slowed up by that Ocean Dragon, and this TP coming out from Zilliancy could mean that GGLeagues and AJ Uptown are in trouble. I don't think they know that Zillion is here, but they're just going to keep looking for it. The laser almost gets it, but the smite from Jadkins, that's their dragon. GGLeagues using that relentless pursuit to try and get out, but Zillion is following him, trying to stun him up, but he's now overextended. These fights just do not end.
Yeah, I gotta say, that's actually super well played from AJ Uptown and GGLeagues there, managing their distance super well. You can see throughout that entire fight, Solo DeBoss forced to throw out the Terror Ultimate probably a little earlier than he wanted to, but nobody really got on top of GGLeagues, and I think Nota's a little fortunate that he's just now completing his second item, because that could have gone a lot worse had he been stronger, but AJ Uptown and GGLeagues able to stay alive for so long. AJ Uptown ends up with a triple kill, which is actually matched by the ultimate on the dead Earth Rider Evan on that Karthus. And but then in that ensuing fight, as you mentioned, they're so low, but they just kite out DJox so well. Let's hold on here as we may have a fight.
He finds the Facebreaker. Just really right now, NOTA are just trying to pressure to let their second Rift Herald crash on that mid turret, and that's exactly what happens. But Andrew Smurf might be a little behind enemy lines. He uses a ward to jump out last second. But if he found something onto Earth Rider Evan and managed to get out, or onto 1,000 Petals, that would have been kind of crazy, as we see these teams paying the next Ocean Dragon. It's going to spawn in about 3 minutes, 45 seconds. And so they know the importance of this, right? Both teams know that this Ocean Soul will almost definitely be sink or swim.
Yep, it is going to be sink or swim. You know, they absolutely, on the side of UHG, need to take that away. It is the strongest soul in the game by far. Will make team fighting and side laning so hard for UHD. It's so nice for NOTA. But yeah, that, again, just able on NOTA to, with that triple kill on the Karthus, have enough health despite DJox going down to have Resiliency teleport in, take that dragon. Resiliency did pay for it with his life, as, again, AJ Uptown and GGLeagues managing that Volibear Q very well, allowing AJ Uptown with the shield to take the damage, and everyone else showing up to collapse on him, but did his job in teleporting back to allow Jadkins to get that third Drake, as we're going to keep harping on it, but that next Drake is the all-important Drake here, is the all-important objective.
Yeah, and DJox now. Actually, I was going to say he's losing this, but he's found the showstopper, but here's Ducky. He thinks it's just a 1v1, but it turns into a 1 versus 3 in the blink of an eye. Requiem, oh my god, actually takes down AJ Uptown. Yeah, I'd ping that if I were Geisa too. An immense amount of damage. AJ Uptown was pretty much at half health when that came through.
I'm actually, I guess he is on 2 items. I'm a little surprised that did take him down. Victor's not exactly known for a massive health bars, but
he's just dealing more. Here. He just walks at her. Like, I don't even think he hit a Skittle there. I think he just walked at her, and the E did all the work.
Yeah, I mean, that triple kill in the last fight really showing through here for Karthus, now sitting on those 2 items. And, you know, as you've kind of heard it in our voices, a little bit surprising how much damage he is already dishing out. It kind of feels like he shouldn't be that strong, but all of a sudden he really is, and is starting to dish it out hard.
Yeah, I was talking earlier about how if Kaisa and Tark work together to take down this Karthus in the fights, that's going to really be the only way you kill him, right? He's probably not going to be far forward enough for AJ Uptown to manage to land something. Andrew Smurf doesn't really want to target the Karthus, because even if he one-shots him, Karthus is just going to probably kill him after the death. So it's going to be a lot on GGLeagues and Solo DeBoss to be able to get onto the back line, specifically the Karthus of NOTA. But at the same time, that feels so hard, right? When you can't even walk through basically a 3-man front line with DJox, Jadkins, and Zilliancy, and with 1,000 Petals backing him up with so much peel, not only with the tidal wave, but also with the bubble, with the movement speed that she provides. This Karthus, Earth Rider Evan, is in a very nice place, and he knows exactly how to use the power he's been given by his team.
Yes, he does. So far, so good on the side of Earth Rider, and you can see this dragon still being pinged out. UHD in the area trying to set up some early vision. I'm sure NOTA will have gone back and see 4 wards in their inventory right now. They're going to come in here with sweepers and start to clear this one out.
3
now have
seconds
30
now on
seconds,
this Ocean
yeah.
Dragon. Yeah, we are both so in tune with this Dragon timer because it's so important to this game. And the fact that NOTA are actually the ones currently with vision control speaks volumes about how they've been able to push these early leads. And now G-Jox is just sitting in this bush and he's looking for Soda to Boss. He runs forward and that guy, oh, he's slowed so much by the Nami, but the Showstopper goes through. It only lands on 2. Soda to Boss dies anyway. And now Rangar in the backline, although he gets Karthus, he gets shut down, and D-Jox falls. Ducky trying to flash for the follow, but Jorlum is actually still alive, using that Ginsu. That Manamune is now evolved. He flashed on 1,000 petals, keeps autoing, and the Acathian Rain is what takes it. Jadkin's forced to burrow out of there, and this Ocean Dragon is finally going to go into the pockets of UHD. They needed a critical team fight win, and Andrew Smurf sacrificed himself to take down Earthrider Evan, to take down Nota's carry, and that is exactly what happened, and they won the fight because of it.
Andrew Smurf, we haven't talked about a lot about him all game. He's been kind of neutered by some of this early pressure from Jadkins and the other members of NOTA. But as you mentioned, just kind of a heroic play there is because of the vision setup that NOTA had done, well timed there, just 20 seconds before the Drake. It forces Solo to Boss to face check the bush, and he gets absolutely jumped on with NOTA hoping to remove that team-wide ultimate from the fight originally, and they do a great job. It actually only lands on one person, not even able to save his own life, but Andrew Smurf dives into the backline and gets on top of Earthrider Evan, and while Karthus can still dish out damage for a couple seconds in that death form, it does give them a chance to take him down, evade a lot of that damage, and Yearlim's just free on the back of the fight, and it ends up being a front-to-back team fight, which is exactly what you want if you are that AD carry, and he picks up, I believe it was it a triple or a quadra kill?
I think it may have been a quadra. I think it was really close. I think if he got Jadkins, it was going to be a quadra.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was a triple kill, yeah. So it was a triple kill there on the side of Gearlin, but you can see at the end of that fight, both he and AJ Uptown with almost full health bars, so that sacrifice from Andrew Smurf definitely working wonders to keep his carries healthy and allow them to carry that team fight and slow down this Drake stacking and this potential soul.
Solo to Boss, you can't keep getting caught out like this. Jadkins is on him now, trying to burst him down. No Cosmic Radiance, but actually the Acathian Rain following Jadkins, and the jungler for NOTA may be in trouble. Showstopper trying to do something, but Andrew Smurf just keeps going. It's taken down by 1,000 petals, who secures the kill. Solo to Boss is trying to do something on this front line, trying to protect his Kaisa, because she deals so much damage. She actually gets out the Acathian Rain. Oh, but here's the Requiem! That's a triple kill coming through from Earthrider Evan. This guy, even when he wasn't even dead when he casted that, he just decided, oh, you know what, I kind of want 2 more here. And AJ Uptown now is going to feel some of that pain as he's trying to contest the Baron, but he just can't. And NOTA, right after they had suffered that embarrassing loss around the Dragon, right after it seems like they might have found an incredible pick, Gearlom goes a little too deep. Soda to Boss just gets caught out in another compromising position, and NOTA take the fight and they take the Baron.
It looked bad initially with Solo to Boss getting caught out, but actually able to turn it around onto Jadkins, and it looked like he was going to die. Pops that stopwatch, but that stopwatch getting the Kaisa ultimate out ultimately is the mistake for Gearlin, because he gets jumped on by Resiliency in that fight, and the CC allows him to get burst down almost for his entire health bar, and while he does manage to heal away, you can't get away from the Karthus ultimate, Leche. It just drops it and picks up 3 kills from everyone being so low from the initial parts of that fight. And that's the second time now he's just picked up 3 kills while already dead.
Yeah, not buying Uzonia's Hourglass earlier on the Victor is just so greedy. That's the only way you can avoid that damage, and that is pretty much guaranteed, like 800 face damage if you're not below the threshold for Dark Harvest every single fight. And he finished his Rabadons. He's going to finish his Void Staff soon. This guy's going to be an absolute monster, but now Ducky may have found Resiliency in the side lane. He's trying to trade back, but here comes Andrew Smurf. Here comes Jactus. This could be just a full-out brawl. Resiliency is getting chucked down just a little, but he's using those healings. He's using those shields, and Jadkins is godlike 7-0 as the Showstopper is going to catch out Ducky. Haymaker takes him down just a little bit more as Jadkins picks up the kill. And you were talking earlier about how this Volibear will come out of fights higher health than he enters it. Look at him now. He's pretty much full, but he's going to back just for the hell of it to match this top lane push. But this does mean that the bot lane turret is pretty much gone. This could be 1. Possibly, if NOTA even push for more, this could be 2. This could be Inhibitor.
That absolutely could be. I think they're just picking the wrong target there, Lich. This Rengar not very strong, and as powerful as Shen has been in this game, he's made a lot of the right plays, I would say, with his teleports. He's not going to burst out a Volibear at this point in the game, and it just takes way too long. It's so easy for Djox and Jad to just run down there and absolutely blow them up, and with the Baron up Baron on all the whole team, it's just easy for them to push in after that. So I'm just a little. I just have a question about the target selection. I appreciate trying to do something to slow down a Baron push, but I just don't think that Volibear is the right person to be going after. Solar Boss might get caught out again here.
Again, he's using the Cosmic Radiance, walking forward, but this time it's going to land, and that's going to give Girlum free reign. Pushing Rek'Sai into that. What? He's going in onto Earthrider. Evan almost gets bursted out, has to flash out. What a dive. He's going to land the W onto 1,000 Petals, as now it seems like this fight could be going UHC, but here comes the Requiem! Again, a triple just off that! And AJ Uptown gets taken down by Djox, walks up, hits him with the left hook, and now NOTA are looking for more of the base. Possibly the whole thing. Look at the respawn timers.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite enough. Maybe they can. We'll see here. It will be close. It should be at least an inhibitor. They can inhib and fall back to Dragon Soul here, for sure. We'll see which one it is here. As there's still 15 seconds on Solar to Boss. It looks like they're just going to go for inhib and the Soul, which will be the safer option here, as some of these timers are now coming back up. But yeah, this is going to break the game wide open here, Lich. And I think, as you mentioned, no stopwatches really on the side of UHD here, and they keep getting hit with the same thing over and over again. The fights look decent, but they go low, and the Karthus just presses R after dying. He's picked up 9 kills from the same thing, 3 different team fights. And, I think there may be some justification on the Victor's side. He built that Void Staff early. I think he was trying probably to just have the maximum amount of power for that 4th dragon fight, instead of buying something else, just buying whatever he could to be strong. But I think at this point, Kai'Sa could have easily gotten one. And that would have just been an extra layer of protection for Girlum, who seemed to be sort of the stronger member of this squad. Hadn't really compromised on itemization yet, had already had one good team fight, and has been able to sit at the back of a couple of these. And without buying that, anytime she makes a mistake and takes a chunk, it's just going to die.
Now it looks like she's looking for the wit's end because she knows she needs MR. Feeling pressured by the very heavy AP damage on her team, knowing she has to get through these tanks. So Girlum's going to be going AP, but now Andrew Smurf is just getting pressured by resiliency in the top lane. Heads up to the fact that NOTA now have the Ocean Soul. Something we were talking about that's pretty much going to be game-ending. And now Earthrider Evan, as long as he keeps poking with these Skittles, he's never going to run out of mana. He's never going to have any issues. Djox is looking for something. Wait, he just keeps going. Misses the face breaker. But this guy is playing so aggressively.
I mean, he can. He knows he's got a Nami in his back pocket. He's got Ocean Soul. I mean, the more damage he does, he's just going to heal it up. There's no way for him to die without any sort of all-in skirmish, and he has so much health regen already. It's just so hard. And you look across the itemization of UHD, and they've been trying to itemize for these dragon fights. There's really no healing reduction at all, and they're going to have to build that if they want any chance of winning these fights.
Yeah, I think, honestly, somebody should have probably built it before the Ocean Soul even came through, but now that it is, somebody's got to pick it up. And it probably should have been Girlum. He spent quite a bit of gold getting this Negatron Cloak and Dagger. That really needed to be an Executioner's calling, especially now with the Ocean Soul. Even if you do get on one of these backline members, there's a good chance that Karthus just presses E and lives through your burst. And now both teams know that Dragon is the objective, and NOTA are looking to get a pick off of that.
They know Baron's coming up. They have the vision control. They're just going to sit here, look for a trap. Will be spotted out. Is resiliency on this far side ward, but they're just going to start this one up. They have the soul. They know they can win a team fight, and they want one.
Djox serving as the front line. If Andrew Smurf does find Earthrider Evan and manages to somehow get out, this team fight's pretty much won, but he uses the ultimate, goes on to resiliency as UHD, NOTA just keeps cutting back. No way. There's actually no way. Oh my god, that had me worried. Wait, but that was through Phantom Dancer. That was the Phantom Dancer shield as well. GGLeagues almost falls and has no more protection, and NOTA knows that. They're just walking at him at this point, and Andrew Smurf looks for Earthrider Evan. The Ocean Soul's gonna keep him up, but he actually falls. Shutdown goes through to Andrew Smurf, but Earthrider Evan still manages to take him down. Now D-Jox picks up GGLeagues, and Ducky is running for his life, trying to extend the amount of time, doing something to these minions so that NOTA just can't run down mid and end the game, but it looks like they may try and do that. But, oh my, resiliency! It's just TPing to the bottom turret. AJ Uptown needs to get back. He can clear these minion waves because they're not baroned up, but he's looking to burst out 1,000 Petals now. He's using the Ocean Dragon, trying to just keep her own health up, and so far it's working. Jadkins and 1,000 Petals there just keeping AJ Uptown down, not letting him recall, not letting him protect the base as D-Jox and Resiliency take this inhib, and they're looking for more. Double cannon wave, 2 massive caster waves. They just keep going. AJ Uptown's going to recall, but he's probably not going to be able to clear this all out with 1 laser. He's going to try, though. He manages to get a lot of the caster minions, but the second turn's going to fall. The Nexus is open. Resiliency is in his face, and NOTA look like they're going to take this game. In goes Andrew Smurf, but it's not enough. AJ Uptown takes down the support in 1,000 Petals, but loses his Nexus.
Yeah, a game 1 upset here from NOTA as they pick this bot lane Karthus, and that proves to some great early play from Jadkins and D-Jox, but that Karthus kind of being the difference there, picking up 9 kills in 3 separate team fights just from pressing that R button really hard, really hard. Really, it's a ton of effort coming out there, as Ziekos loves to say. I pressed R really hard, and I won the game. But yeah, a very nice game plan overall, I would say, from the side of NOTA. They know what they wanted there. They wanted to keep Earthrider Evan safe in the lane, and 1,000 Petals able to do that on the Nami. Jadkins and D-Jox used the strength in the early to mid game, on this Rek'Sai set combination there to control rivers, control objectives. I mean, I think Jadkins took every major objective in the game, both Rift Heralds. The 3 first Drakes, the only one that they missed was off of that lost team fight, where GGLeagues was the one time he got to really free fire as Andrew Smurf went in and absolutely obliterated the Karthus. It's just a great performance there, and some question marks on the side of UHD here. I think particularly if you look at that support pick of the Taric, really not a lot of agency on solo boss, and caught out repeatedly. And you would argue that the ultimate from Taric would be the reason you picked him to nullify that Karthus ultimate. But if you watch the last 2 team fights, he mistimed it horribly. He didn't get that ultimate onto Kai'Sa at all.
It never worked out the way he wanted to. Kai'Sa was going that AD build, already a little bit questionable here, but forced to go Phantom Dancer, which, as we saw in that last Requiem, although it saves him, that's just not quite enough to really, protect him in these fights. And when solo to boss, every time he would face check a bush, and buddy, you are not playing Nautilus, you're not playing Leona, you're playing Taric. Your tankiness is on a 90-second cooldown on that R button, and he just keeps walking into bushes, kept getting caught out. But we are going to be going to a short break as we prep the next game for all of you lovely viewers. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back, GGLeagues gamers. We're here to bring you game 2 of the Illinois Lowell Division A. I am once again Leche, joined by my, apparently at this point, honestly, constant co-host, DJ. How are you feeling today? How did you feel about that last game?
Yeah, feeling good, feeling excited, and excited about that last game. We had quite an interesting gameplay out there, and it's good to see NOTA coming out with some strategies prepared, throwing out this Karthus in the bot lane right away, and it paying off big time. So very happy to see the sort of underdog by seeding coming out here strong in game 1, and interested to see if they can continue that or what UHD will do to try to disrupt the momentum.
And we see exactly what UHD are doing to disrupt that momentum. Karthus is on the table for the very first ban. On red side, you do have a lot less freedom about what you actually can ban. You can't really give over a lot of those first power picks, first pickable power picks. But despite that, they're moving away, one of the normal picks. They're getting rid of the Ashe off their ban plate, and they're pushing the Karthus. Now, once again, the AD pool is getting slimmer and slimmer. The top of the table for ADs in terms of power are so far removed from the middle and the bottom that this really isn't anything new. This isn't anything unexpected. But do keep your eyes on what exactly that pool is going to look like for this game, because last time it was Karthus versus Kai'Sa. Who knows what it's going to be this game?
Yeah, I'm not sure at all, though that Ashe is still available, and it will be available here as a Veigar is the last ban on the side of UHD. I expect to see that Ashe.
Yeah, the Ashe or Set. I mean, last time we saw Set as an absolute monster. This guy is a 1, 2, 3, actually 4, pardon me, 4-lane flex pick. He can pretty much go anywhere.
Yes, he can. Super, super strong on multiple different item power spikes. Just such a strong champion in general. Great utility. Very, very strong in duels. Very, very strong at engaging and really dealing with a single champion. Always has the survivability of that shield ultimately. And we will see an Olaf now coming out on the side of UHD, and it looks like they're hovering a Cassia, but they're going to pick up the Zilean, which I believe was banned away by UHD last game in the second round. So interesting to see that one come out in the first round of this game.
Yeah, Zilean, bit of a flex, but the one thing that I really, really do like to see is, if this isn't a flex, if this is going to be in the mid lane, Zilean Olaf, such a clean mid 2v2. But last time we saw how the Rek'Sai set worked, and we could be seeing a repeat. Zilean is going to have to watch his step if that's what happens this game.
Yes, he will, certainly. Definitely a little bit more priority on this Olaf, who should be able to fight back. And there's a Ziggs. I mean, I think this could be a bot laner too.
I love Ziggs. I absolutely love Ziggs. And seeing Earthrider Evans champ pool, this very well could be his. He's the kind of guy that plays Karthus bot. I'm sure he's played a few games as Ziggs. And this is a pick which, personally, I adore. I think Ziggs is so good. You put him bot lane, you shove out the wave, you go up for Herald, and you have a, 8-minute first tower. Absolutely insane. But if that Ziggs is going mid, he's going to have to deal with a Fizz, which is not a fun lane to play. As a Ziggs aficionado myself, seeing this, if this is the lane matchup, I would just be depressed. I'd say FF at 15.
Yep, I can see that one happening. I did actually cast a game where it was a Fizz against a Heimerdinger a couple days ago, and that was a miserable time for the Heimerdinger. I think he died 8 or 9 times, just died on ult cooldown there for Fizz, and I would imagine it's a similar scenario for this Ziggs. Not a lot of peel or escapability on either of those champions when it comes to this really sticky, tricky Fizz. We do see second round bans coming out here, starting with the Nami and the Shen taken away. So 2 picks that were seen in the last game. Neither team apparently liking them, as you saw that, it was Ducky was actually pretty successful in most of his roams and his odd man team fights when he arrived with that Shen ultimate in the last game, and not liking this Nami, which was piloted pretty well by 1,000 Petals in the prior game. See the Ashe be the last ban as Senna banned away on the side of UHD. So again, pinching that AD carry pool, and now he will be digging deep on the side.
Oh, baby.
Nope. Throw down the gauntlet. Here comes the Vayne.
Let's go. There's going to be a Vayne Zilean bottom lane, so she's going to be speeding around pretty much every skill shot. I don't know if you can even... Ziggs normally has a pretty nice time into these ADs, but with Vayne Zillion, once they get kind of later on in the game, she should be able to just kind of outperform him. That being said, early lane prio is going to be all in Zig's favor if this does head into the bot lane, with the Volibear pick, it's pretty much assured.
Now we can see this same top side coming out here from the side of NOTA. Could still flex that set into the bot lane, but Set definitely a champion as a support that wants to get frisky in the first few levels, and not sure that's something Ziggs is going to be super down to clown around with. So instead, it will be a Lulu, and they're going to go for a full poke here in that bottom side with the same top side as they had last game.
Yeah, there are so many, only so many competitively viable enchantresses. Some of them don't even go in the support role, so when your Nami's banned out, I guess you next go to your Lulu, and although it does kind of feel weird to be rocking a Lulu Ziggs lane, normally Lulu is a lot better with those hyper-scaling auto-attack ADs. Last time Nami Karthus worked, and although you have the nice interaction with her E and his Qs, this isn't going to be as easy to work on. The polymorph is, of course, going to be nice whenever Fizz comes to your lane, but once again, I do think a lot of this game is going to be on Earthrider Evan and 1000 Petals to really pull out early.
Yeah, absolutely agree, and it will definitely be a little more difficult. You can see it's a very similar idea to last draft. Use this strong top side to take objectives, control the jungle in the early game, and rely on this Ziggs for burst damage in these team fights, but nothing guaranteed as it was with the Karthus our last game. Now we'll have to hit that skill shot, and definitely harder to hit all 5 targets. So interesting to see if they can pull something similar off, particularly against a stronger early game jungler on the side of UHD.
And yesterday, the legendary performances by Wilhelm. I don't know if we're going to see as crazy of a Fizz, but it's the same idea when you're playing this champion. You want to be able to do well in your mid matchup so you can then spread it to the rest of the map. But we're going to have to see exactly how all of these picks line up in the game as we're going to work ourselves through this short spectator delay, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
And welcome back, everybody, to this second game in our best of 3 series here in Illinois Division A between UHD and NOTA. We've got UHD loading in on the red side this time and NOTA on the blue side. And Leche, similar draft strategy here from the side of NOTA, but they do have that Karthus taken away from them. So not going to be as easy this time to get that AP burst damage out of this Ziggs that they are looking for.
Yeah, Ziggs is definitely going to be a little different, but that Mega Inferno Bomb does have a lot of global pressure and deals so much damage, as Andrew Smurf might be caught out here by Resiliency.
Here is everybody jumping right on him. He's ignited, and he is just going to go down. And NOTA picking up first blood again. Not sure if they scouted that one out beforehand, but they looked like they knew exactly where Andrew Smurf was going to go. And this is the second time in a row now that Andrew Smurf having a rough start to this game. Not really dying last one, but just allowing Jadkins to be way ahead. And first blood goes on to the support. The only good thing on the side of UHD there that the gold finds its way onto sort of the least important, I suppose, damage-related champion in this game. So we can see in the chat here, somebody looks like on the side of NOTA is a little bit aggrieved that their Zillion has been taken away.
Yes, to quote Solo to Boss, my Zillion. And, you know, that does seem like that's what we're going to see this time. He's definitely going to be, it's going to be a little easier to face check those bushes when you do have bombs as compared to just walking face first into them as Tarek. But seeing Resiliency on this Volibear again, now he's matched up into Ducky, who's on yet another tank, but this time one who definitely scales a little harder, and although he won't be able to duel this Volibear as easily, you know, it's still a matchup that Volibear is going to be able to win, but it's up to Resiliency to not fall behind early like he did last time.
Yep, absolutely will be the case here. I imagine he should be a little more comfortable against this Ornn than he was against the Shen in the early game, but should be a pretty favorable matchup, particularly as the game goes on. You know, will feel comfortable against Ornn, although Ornn always going to have value for the rest of his team as those upgraded items come through for free stats. But mostly just some normal trading going on in the lanes across the map here. As junglers taking just some full clears, looks like. So nothing much doing as Set pushed up pretty much into AJ Uptown's turret, but he has a nice freeze. He's actually going to go in here, get some electrocute proc down. Is level 3. Now DJ going, dodges the W. Is exhausted now, but here comes Jadkins. AJ Uptown does have flash, going to go over the wall. Jadkins might look to follow here, going to connect with the Q. Meanwhile, Ducky being engaged upon him, still going to be looking down at AJ Uptown. He will manage to escape there. Jadkins decides to hold on to his flash, but a very interesting decision. AJ Uptown trying to get a good trade there onto Djox, but doesn't respect the fact that this jungler for NOTA, who was so active in the first game, doing it once again, hovering around his mid lane.
Oh, Andrew Smurf.
Flash away now from Volibear, going to get flashed on by Andrew Smurf, and Ducky actually going to take that one away. Will get hit by Jadkins, but now the Conquer's proc for Andrew Smurf. Does want to fight this, but knows that the mid laner has priority, so will back away. And we'll lose out on this Scuttle Crab, but pretty nicely done there by Ducky and Andrew Smurf. Well done to know the jungler. For the side of NOTA there, Jadkins have just committed to mid lane, so they walk up to top lane, and despite going low on health, Ducky able to play that one well, gets out of the range of the Volibear and lets his jungler do the damage, then picks up the kill for himself.
And rewinding a little bit, talking about that earlier on mid lane fight, after AJ Uptown used the Playful Trickster to double E onto Set, there's no way he wins that fight after that. Even if Rek'Sai doesn't show up, Set just outpunches him. So some interesting trading patterns from AJ Uptown, but now that he's lost his flash, if he makes one more mistake like that, Djox should just be able to run him down. So keep your eyes on the mid lane. See how exactly Djox does play out this matchup, because the onus is on AJ Uptown to get a lead early.
Yes, it will be, as will be a little easier as level 6s come out. Fizz does have a bit of a tough time in lane with his lack of range. There's a nice trade there from Djox. Does also get that level up, so should have a little bit extra damage on that W. But is going to be tough for AJ Uptown until he does get that level 6 to be able to have the threat of the engage. Meanwhile, these bot lanes just farming away. You can see, as you would expect, a lot of pressure coming out from the side of NOTA. This Vayne down about 10 CS, doing her best to collect these minions under turret, but this will be a pretty similar theme until she is level 6 or until they can open up after laning phase.
Yeah, this Vayne is definitely going to pay dividends if she does keep even later on in the game, when you're gonna have to be able to get through D-Jox and Resiliency, to pretty massive tanks. That being said, Rift Rider Evan pretty much can have his way with this lane as long as he wants, and AJ Uptown just keeps fighting D-Jox, no fear at all. Now that he has that Dark Seal, Corrupting Potion just does so much for him.
Yeah, absolutely does, and saw that actually predicted that W going down to stop his recall, and gets a nice trade there onto D-Jox. Should be able to push this wave in. Is going to get slowed here, but no ultimate means no threat just yet. Will take down the cannon.
Yeah, D-Jox now, he's starting to actually hurt quite a bit. I was talking earlier about how the onus is on AJ Uptown, but with the CS advantage and very close to level 6, AJ Uptown's going to reset, put himself in a nice position to be able to push out this mid lane, get level 6 on the next wave, and then head bot side to get Dragon priority. But the moment he resets, actually the call from NOTA to just take this first Dragon, although Jadkins isn't popping off as hard as last game, he's still getting the objectives, and Resiliency still gets knocked up.
Top side, haven't engaged. Ornald has come out.
They're
Looks like
forcing
they're going to go under turret. Shield does not quite come down, but I think Andrew Smurf's still going to go down. So Resiliency doing a nice job with his team on the Dragon, trying to take advantage of that. Is UHD going to that weak side of the map, but Resiliency able to get one back, and that will be a win overall for NOTA.
Yeah, they're actually pretty happy right now. Kind of sucks that your Volibear just ran it down. But although they forced really hard on the top side, they committed a lot of resources, and you did get the Dragon. So as long as you convert this Dragon into something and don't let them convert their top lane pressure into a Rift Herald, you are sitting pretty.
Yeah, that is the case. So we see moving in to collect some vision in the bot side. Jungle Rek'Sai is going to take his red buff, and this Rift Herald will be spawning in 40 seconds. So do imagine UHD will try to use their top lane pressure. We'll see if there are any swaps. I doubt that would be the case. They're going to want to use the pressure on this Ziggs to continue to stack those Drakes, and that was part of the reason they were able to just start it up, knowing that AJ Uptown pretty low on mana. The Ziggs pressed into the turret per usual against this Vayne, and here's some trading in the top side. Ducky will just dash away.
Last time, we saw Resiliency go through the Frozen Fist, the Iceborne Gauntlet. I really hope that this time he's going towards a Triforce, because the only source of real AD damage on UHG that's going to be impacting him is from the Olaf, and that champ falls off pretty hard. You think about the Vaynes, so much of that is going to be her Silver Bolt, so I do hope to see Resiliency not really lose to the Shopkeeper this early on in the game, but Andrew Smurf and Jadkins are both hovering around topside, but Jadkins is pathing down. This could be Andrew Smurf fight to win.
Here he comes from the lane. E going to go down, try to slow Ducky, but not going to quite correct. Here comes the axe, and he should just go down. That is an easy gank there for Andrew Smurf, and Resiliency gets caught a little bit too high in the lane, and now his third death of the game, really starting to fall behind, and that should be Rift Herald.
It really should be, but Andrew Smurf just kind of walking back and forth up there. I guess waiting for some mid lane priority or something, but he is going to start it up now, a little late. We're going to have to keep an eye on Jadkins and D-Jox to see if they want to just walk in there and take it. But Andrew Smurf has Ragnarok. Not a lot can stop him.
Yeah, does have that Ragnarok. Will also have the Fizz ultimate available. And now Ornn walking down just to make sure. So Fizz ultimate coming out here. There's a good ult from D-Jox. Going to do some nice damage. The nice down, but it's not quite going to be enough. Jadkins now running AJ Uptown down. He does not have Playful Trickster. Does get the bite down, not quite enough. Looking for flashes and gets the knockup and will take down AJ Uptown. AJ goes in, but not quite enough damage to burst out D-Jox on this set. And Jadkins shows up again in the right spot, and they will take him down. And I think AJ Uptown going to be a little frustrated that he was not able to take down that tanky champion. Set is just so hard to move aside.
Yeah, Jadkins had Void Rush that entire time. But I guess he didn't want AJ Uptown to dodge it. Either way, does actually not manage to get out the flash from AJ Uptown, which means he can play really aggressive, and that's actually pretty okay. AJ Uptown wants to get some movement speed to roam down to the bot lane, get some magic pen to do a lot of damage to the Ziggs, and that's why he bought those Sork boots. But the thing is, this this Fizz has to convert very heavily on the lead he's built so far, or else he's going to fall off, and eventually Set is just going to be able to be more, not necessarily damage, but more disruption and peel for his team than Fizz is ever going to be able to.
Yeah, that will always be the case. Can still see a 20 CS lead onto AJ Uptown as we've got an ult coming out in the top lane. Ducky going to connect with it.
Just a 1v1.
Meanwhile, Olaf jumping onto Jackins. Oh, he fails the flash over the wall. Not quite close enough there. Jackins will escape with his life, but Ducky just starting to absolutely run over Resiliency. He got a lead last time around, but really making the most of it this time. Now 1-4-1, 20 CS up and pushing down on that turret after that solo kill.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite Ragnarok interactions in the whole game. That one in the Set ultimate.
Hold on, looks like teleporter. We got a lot going on here as the ultimate down bot lane, but Resiliency teleports back top. Ducky trying to get out of here, does connect with his first Brittle Proc. Here comes the ultimate out of Resiliency, slows Ducky down. He's trying to get away from these autos. He has one more. Resiliency needs one more double. He's going to flash in for it, will get the kill, and will avenge his death there. Ducky does have TP and should be able to get back, and it looks like Gearlin was forced to use both of his summoner spells to escape Ziggs. We just saw a brief glimpse of that Mega Inferno Bomb going out. Did not quite connect, and it looks like Gearlin has been able to heal up or get back. Here comes Set flashing in. Is going to connect. Olaf going to pop Ragnarok, try to get some damage down. Actually going to get the Zillion ultimate, and now here comes AJ Uptown. Flashing in, 1,000 Petals going low here. Will go down AJ Uptown. Playful Trickster has been used. Here comes Jackins with the ultimate. Will take down Andrew Smurf, but he is now getting run down. AJ Uptown should have the Playful Trickster here pretty quickly. I think they should be able to get on top of him. They will. He will go down. He will fall into D-Jox. He's very, very low. He just manages to stay alive. The last auto doesn't take him, and he doesn't get hit by the Ziggs Q, and they manage to take down D-Jox as well. A huge team fight coming out here for UHD.
Yeah, with the way that fight initially started, I didn't honestly expect that. D-Jox was going for a pretty big play. They had the support of really just a lot of crucial ultimates, but in the end it wasn't enough, and Dragon ends up untaken. The objective that everyone was fighting over so aggressively does just... it's still on the map, which means we can see another one of those fights very, very soon as NOTA tries to wrest away that vision control that UHD has built up.
I think we will see a lot of prior around here. With Andrew Smurf being the one member dying from UHD, probably didn't want to risk a 50-50 on that Drake, but they are moving in here to try to retake decisions. So yeah, can't disagree with you. I think we will be seeing attention to this really quickly. Yeah, I think in that last team fight, Solo to Boss getting that ultimate down onto Andrew Smurf really bought enough time for AJ Uptown to get in a good spot to flank, really helping them win that fight.
Yeah, it really did, and now Resiliency, he keeps opting for these fights in the top lane, but he's only won them when Ducky's already half health going into it. Here comes the Ornhorn.
Is going to connect. Second Brittle Proc comes out. Now going to kite back and get healed up by his W. Here comes the other Brittle Proc. Meanwhile, Dragon being taken in the bot side. It looks like Ducky's actually going to go down here despite the Sunfire Cape. That Frozen Gauntlet doing work now on the side of Resiliency. It looks like everyone going to get out on the bot side, but Ducky will go down to the solo kill. So despite Resiliency not listening to you, Leche, it looks like his Frozen Gauntlet paid out in that case.
Yeah. As tilted as I am about that, I am happy for him. He finally managed to win that top lane fight. Ducky didn't land both ends of that Ornhorn, and Resiliency, despite dropping down pretty low, managed to hit enough of his Ws that he, like you keep talking about, heals up just so much. I would not be surprised if Ducky builds a Bramble Vest very, very soon.
You can see now, here comes Andrew Smurf hovering around this top side. You can see Jadkins is here too, but is going to come up here unspotted, and there is no ult, I believe, on Resiliency. Let's see if he has it. He does actually have it. Here comes a Ragnarok. Here comes Resiliency going in.
No way.
Going to try, but not enough. That Olaf is too strong, but Jadkins is here, and he should be able to pick this up. Can't see the Olaf living through this one, despite his low health healing, and Jadkins will get the counter kill there. Pretty well played by Resiliency, almost able to get that himself. The E just not coming down in time, but Jadkins doing nice jungling in general, and there to pick up his top laner.
Yeah, now D-Jox using his Nimbus cloak to make sure that AJ Uptown can't follow him. AJ Uptown finally, he's got some kills on the board after that last fight. He's getting towards his Glitch Bane, that first very important item. And Jadkins, resiliency, I don't know where he was. I will be quite honest with you. Perhaps he was 1v1. But Jadkins has to catch this top wave now as resiliency hobbles his way back to the top lane. Ducky should not be winning this as hard as he is. I mean, the later you go on in this game, the more useful Ornn is, especially when you do have champions that use his upgrades so efficiently. So, if Ducky can keep up, although he lost in that last 1v1, if he can keep up the good work he's been doing so far, I do expect him to slowly but surely kind of win these matchups. And when both of these players do group up as a team, the Ornn Horn is so much more valuable than the 2-second Grand Slam. But now, both teams are looking towards another objective. Dragon is off, so it's got to be Herald.
Yep, is Herald, as you can see. UHD already on top of this one. Andrew Smurf does have his ult available again, and they do have mid lane prio. Fizz, AJ Uptown already here. Bot lane going to get here a little bit late from the side of NOTA, so that Rift Herald will be taken by Andrew Smurf. That is, I believe, the second Rift Herald?
I want to disagree with you. I don't think there's, but I can't prove it, but I believe that's the first one.
It is second Herald.
The voice in my ear said the second, yeah.
Oh, that's right. It is second Herald. They dropped the first one top lane, or sorry, mid lane, I believe. But it was taken after resiliency went down early in the game. So that will be surely dropped. And wow, meanwhile, AJ Uptown just going to solo kill D-Jox under this turret. Tries to ultimate him back under the turret, but not enough. And meanwhile, Andrew Smurf is back up here again to impact this top lane. Resiliency trying to get on Ducky, doesn't connect. The axe slows him down. He didn't get out of the range with the flash. He's just going to go down to Andrew Smurf. Andrew Smurf now 4 kills on this Olaf, and it's just too much. He has impacted this top lane so much to continue to keep this Ornn ahead. And as you mentioned, Leche, it's just going to get worse and worse as this Volibear's influence wanes without a lead.
Especially when you went with the Frozen Gauntlet. But, talking a little bit about how this top matchup is going, you can't not talk about Andrew Smurf. This guy last game, to be quite frank, did not perform very well on what is supposedly his main. Yeah, he killed Karthus in a few team fights, but in the grand scheme, that really didn't matter. Early on, he was just outperformed by Jadkins on his rec side. So now, seeing Andrew Smurf unlocked onto the map on more of a conventional early game pick like the Olaf makes me really happy to see this player performing a lot better, and he is one of the main reasons why UHD has managed to stay in this game, and in fact, get a pretty substantial lead.
Absolutely is the case. You can see much better on objectives. Last game, Jadkins took every one except for that fourth Drake, I believe, fourth Drake, and now they do have a dragon, and have also taken both Rift Heralds, so some very nice early game presence from Andrew Smurf, as well as getting his top laner very, very far ahead in this matchup. And so this continues to look better and better for UHD. This Vayne on 140 CS, only 15 down on this Ziggs. Does have a kill, already completed her first item, working on a second. She will be feeling great about her position in the game, and that will just continue to get better and better for the side of UHD.
Yeah, UHD are pretty happy. In a traditional kind of fight, you have the Vayne, you have Fizz to disrupt, and Zilean, the later the game goes, just gets more and more obnoxious, as 2 Rift Heralds are now going to be used this game to knock down this mid lane turret, and surely this one will take it down. Earthrider Evan's not going to have that, safe location of the mid lane turret to just keep farming anymore, but it seems like Set's been cut out.
Connects. D-Jox in trouble. He's going to try to get to this blast cone, but just gets blown up by AJ Uptown. Great setup here by Solo de Boss, using that slow to connect both of his bombs, and will provide that CC and allow his team to run down D-Jox. Meanwhile, ultimate coming out onto Jadkins here. In goes AJ Uptown. Gets some help from Solo de Boss as the Zilean Q gonna popular. Rest of NOTA is here. They will just keep Jadkins alive. AJ Uptown is low, but he's just gonna go in anyway. He gets the Zilean ult on top. They don't quite take Jadkins down, but Resiliency gonna go down. They're gonna try to run down our Earthrider Evan. He is under turret. He's not gonna take the second turret shot. AJ Uptown's gonna live. He also takes Earthrider Evan down, and now they're running Jadkins down. Not sure if they're gonna be able to get him. AJ Uptown looping around, but here comes D-Jox. Trying to slow him down. He's now suppressed. We'll get the Playful Trickster out.
What?
Will kill! Jadkins, is he gonna live?
No way.
He is!
Just walks out.
Live. AJ Uptown absolutely running over this team fight here as they use the dragon as some bait. AJ Uptown goes in onto Jadkins, and despite having solo health, he knows he has that zillion ult in his pocket, and he just runs over that team fight and continues the chase all the way under that second tier turret in top lane, and manages to pick up the extra kill onto Jadkins. That was super impressive, Leche.
Last night, we were just seeing some incredible Fizz performances. This guy is making plays that I didn't even think were possible a reality. And now with the Zillion ultimate, he can pretty much do whatever he wants and not even fear death. And once he finishes his Zhonya's Hourglass, that's just going to be one more tool that enables him, that allows him to get onto the back line. Because unlike last time, when Earthrider Evan dies, he's not that useful anymore.
Absolutely is the case. He cannot provide that Karthus ultimate, only has that have an opportunity really to connect on it very well. Solar Boss going to get jumped on here by Resiliency, but we'll just slow him or speed himself up and get out of that one. We can see Solar Boss as he's going to almost sidestep that Ziggs ult, but will not quite take the center damage there, so we'll still have about half his health bar. Be pretty happy there. And we can see Solar Boss a lot more comfortable in this game, even on a squishier champion, but one with a little more agency, just a little more mobility. Oh, it's just going to ult here is Andrew Smurf going in onto Djox, immune to all the CC, connecting with one more axe. He has come out of his ultimate now. You can see Girlin being sped up in her ult by Solar Boss, but nothing doing as they pop a couple ults there to save their mid lane turret, but don't really get anything out of it except for some pressure in mid lane.
Keep your eyes on AJ Uptown. He is flanking deep into the enemy jungle, and he might find 1,000 petals.
Here you can see Andrew Smurf clearing out some vision as well. I still don't think they know where Andrew Smurf, or AJ Uptown is, excuse me, but they might know he is around, so he's not in the lane, but we'll just fall back to that wave. And pretty good defense there. Those ultimates should be back up pretty quickly. As you can see, Andrew Smurf's just about only 10 seconds left on that one, just about half the cooldown left on Girlim. So no harm, no foul for using those ults to protect their mid lane turret, and should be up for the next fight. But as we were talking about, Solar Boss seems a lot more comfortable on this pick in particular than he was in the last game, being able to face check, get vision, and just be generally useful in a lot of these team fight scenarios.
Yeah, he's a lot more useful now. Also just being able to have a Guardian Angel essentially for any single member that wants to go in, he is perfect. And Vayne is an ADC that can play so aggressively. AJ Uptown, Fizz can play so aggressively, so can Andrew Smurf, but 1,000 petals, pulling a bit of a solo to boss there, face checking some bushes, trying to get vision, but she doesn't get caught out, speeds herself up, and gets out of that situation before it gets too bad.
No harm, no foul there. Pretty well done by the Lulu to try to get some vision and avoid getting picked off. There's Ducky going in with the series charge here. He will pop his ult now. Resiliency running the opposite direction, actually going to dodge the ultimate here as Solar Boss here. But you can see the rest of NOTA is here, and there are two members missing. Goes into the ult now is Resiliency. Here comes the Mega Inferno Bomb, but still will go down. The entirety of NOTA is here. There's still two members for UHD on the bot side, Leche.
Yeah, that's what push pressure is actually being pretty substantial right now, but Resiliency, you gotta be able to jump the wall. Volibear's ult is really weird in terms of those jumping wall interactions, I understand, but he just went at the wrong angle, didn't actually carry himself over, wasted the ultimate. It gave himself a bit more health, I guess, but that just feels so bad if you're him.
I really wasn't a little surprised the entirety of NOTA going up to help there, and they knew the two members were on the bot side, and they kind of opted into a weird decision there where they decide not to go in. Even with Resiliency down, it's still a 4v3, and I know AJ Uptown's very scary, but he may not get a better opportunity. Is now caught out, and Olaf going into the ultimate. He's getting on to Djox, losing a little bit of health, is peeled nicely, does run out of that Ragnarok, and will grab some vision, forced to retreat here as they try to gain some control around the Sir Drake. You see Jadkins with double buff, still very healthy. Will be looking to come over this wall. They're going to pull this Ocean Drake out and start to auto it down here. Djox about half health. Here comes
that's a lot of damage.
Not enough damage really on there, but Red Team, yeah, and UHD just going to take that.
Once again.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, you cut out for a second. Once again, Ocean Dragon is, or Ocean Soul, pardon me, is on the board, and this time it's UHD who actually, kind of have the keys to that objective. It's going to be really hard for NOTA to split the map now because they don't have the advantage. They can't really trade these Baron for Dragon objective because for them, it's just a minuscule amount of regen, right? But it's just 2.5 if they're missing health. But for UHD, that's the Ocean Soul. That's the win condition. That's the way they break this game open. So NOTA, I think, have to do something now to wrest back control of this game, at least knock down a turret or two.
I absolutely agree with you, Lechek. You can see kind of the walls closing in on this NOTA comp. As we talked about, the later this game goes, with really no consistent damage threat on their side in this vein, onto items now with her Blade of the Rune King upgraded by this Ornn. It's very scary. It's very hard for NOTA to win any team fights. The members of UHD are very strong. They're one dragon away from Soul Point. I don't even think they need Soul to win this game, but getting it would essentially guarantee it.
Yeah, they need something to kind of crack this game open, right? Whether it be Baron or Soul, they need something because they don't really have a siege composition other than putting Zilean Guardian Angel on Fizz and letting him go ham. So they do need something to crack open NOTA's base, and whatever major objective it is, they're on a timer, 3.5 minutes until this Ocean Soul comes out. And NOTA are going to be forced into a very tough situation, but right now they're split across the map because that's exactly what UHD are doing them.
You can see GGLeagues ticking over to level 13 with the help of that Zilean, and Ducky just in the bot side providing some pressure. Does have his TP up, a little low on mana, but should be able to join. And AJ Uptown sitting in a bush here, looking to see if he can
he's got out.
Yeah, he's spotted. He was on a ward the entire time. We'll get some help from Zilean there. Zilean tries to go in. That Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't connect onto anyone. Lulu ult goes down into Resiliency. Here comes the Olaf trying to get onto Earthrider Evan. He's going low. Jack and the Ziggs managed to take him down. Meanwhile, Resiliency in the backline gets AJ Uptown's Zonias. AJ Uptown is low. He's actually going to get shut down. And now Ducky is all alone after TPing into this fight, and I think he will probably go down as well, trying to get something back on Resiliency, but he's going to get a shield. But here comes the Vayne. Ducky takes down one. There's a lot of ultimates that are on cooldown now for NOTA. This Vayne is still pretty healthy, does have the Zilean with her. Zilean ult has already gone down, though, and they're a little bit nervy about running into the Ziggs. So they're going to peel out while they can. And it looks like that fight is going to end 2-4-2.
Ziggs just couldn't find the back line, and that means GGLeagues has just a free chance to deal so much damage, and this mid-tier 2 is going to fall down. I was talking earlier about how they need objectives to really crack open these next few turrets, but if you win a team fight like that, if AJ Uptown can't get the backline access that he so desperately needs, while your front line makes sure that Earthrider Evan can't throw any bombs to hit your AD or support, then you can start taking turrets, right? Then you can start taking these larger objectives and securing vision control. The one thing I think they could have done better is you look at the top side jungle for NOTA, and it is all blue wards, right? They've got no issue. I do kind of wish the UHD had pushed forward their vision line, because if they had, this next Baron would be practically assured. But instead, they're taking the reset timers. AJ Uptown playing really aggressively. He wants a bit of revenge for dying last time.
Yes, he does. Probably a little upset. He did have a Magi Soul Stealer, which now down to 4 stacks, but 1,000 Petals reading him well there, just sidestepping with that speed boost. And as you mentioned, it looks like now this Olaf Andrew Smurf trying to get some vision in, but not really advancing the vision line. Still, you can still see a lot of control in that Baron side jungle there for NOTA.
Yeah.
But Dragon is spawning in a minute, so maybe a different focus here for the side of UHD.
Oh yeah, UHD honestly would be, they've only lost 1 turret. I think all things considered, they'd be pretty happy taking this Ocean Soul, such a powerful objective over the Baron. But it's all about if they can think they can end the game, should they get the Baron buff, right? If they can, you take it 100%. But if you're even the slightest bit worried, you've got to take this Ocean Soul. It seems like Solida Boss, he may be caught out yet again.
Boss going in, already used the speed buff, flashes away from the Mega Inferno Bomb, going to get pulled back, probably going to have to use ult on himself, he will. They're going to try to wait it out here as he drops the double bomb, but misses, will get resurrected. They're trying to jump in, here comes the ultimate out of the Olaf. Everyone's going low here, Vayne is still free in the backside. Jadkins does get 1 now, but Vayne is free firing. GGLeagues takes down 1. They haven't got anything on the Vayne now. They're trying to slow her down, but this fight should be all on GGLeagues. He's trying to run down this Lulu, will get the speed buff, gets 1 auto. She might be able to get away, will slow her down, but I think Ducky is going to go around and cut her off. Meanwhile, they're going to start this Baron up, so they actually let her live, but the pressure created from the health bars on the side of UHD, and 2 members down on the side of NOTA are going to allow them to take this Baron.
NOTA actually used so many resources to take down Solo to boss that GGLeagues just kind of said, you know, all right, I'll stack up my Ginsus, I'll 1v9, and that's exactly what he did. Resiliency was shredded, so was Jackins and D-Jocks. So this is honestly going to be a real issue because GGLeagues is getting insanely strong, and Polymorph might not even protect him from this, but Fizz managed to just peel off. Team says, you know, the Ocean Soul is up, let's just take it.
And they are just going to take it, so they go from Baron to Ocean Soul. Mega Inferno Bomb is too late there. And, yeah, I gotta say, Lich, after this, with these 2 buffs on top of this UHD comp, which is so much stronger in mid to late game team fights than the side of NOTA, I really struggle to see a way back into this game.
The way is, it's pretty straightforward, but it is as straightforward as it is kind of hard to execute coming up on this point. It's pretty much Earthrider Evan has to get a massive Mega Inferno Bomb, and you have to somehow keep AJ Uptown from getting on him. Because so many times we have seen AJ Uptown. I mean, this guy's gone for so many deep flanks, and even if they don't work out, the ones that do pay dividends. If you can get rid of this Ziggs, where's the damage on NOTA's comp, right? They have 2 frontliners, a Rek'Sai, who, it's 30 minutes, she's not really a damage source anymore, and a Lulu. So you've got to play, basically, protect Earthrider Evan, but now that a lot of this MR is starting to come through on Olaf, on Ornn, it's getting harder and harder for him to deal damage to the front line. He's got to find ways to kill GGLeagues.
Vayne also has that Phantom Dancer now, so not MR, but will have a shield to try to help against that Mega Inferno Bomb. And they are moving down into this bot lane wave now, looking to take down this first inhibitor turret.
Yeah, and just trying to keep these minions Baron buffed up. GGLeagues hovering around so that it's just a little bit harder for NOTA to actually get anything done. But this mid, top, and bot waves aren't going to be perfectly synced, but they're going to be pretty damn close. So NOTA are in for a world of hurt if they don't make an engage now.
Absolutely the case. You can see Fizz moving up this last wave, and actually, geez, looking at Andrew Smurf, he's level 16. D-Jocks, the mid laner on the enemy team, is level 14, Leche. Oh, GGLeagues actually gets poked out. The Mega Inferno Bomb goes up, but I think it misses there. And so that is a big cooldown now off of the side of NOTA. Big deterrent for GGLeagues. He manages to dodge that one, and now they're pushing in. You can see Olaf taking down the top lane inhibitor turret. He's kind of dancing around these 2 members. He knows, again, he's level 16, very strong. Just going to start autoing here. He's going to go into his Ragnarok. He is absolutely destroying Jackins, who ults him and just going to go down. Solo to boss provides the Requiem, which actually takes the kill. D-Jocks trying to ult him back in the turret, but it may not be enough here. Yeah, he's still going. Finally does run out of the Ragnarok, but now GGLeagues is able to free fire. You can see AJ Uptown just taking down Resiliency in the mid lane as no one to support him, with Olaf bruising 2 members on this top side of the map, and they're just going to absolutely ruin this base, and this may be the end of the game here. All 3 inhibitors now down. We will see if they push for the end or if they do try to reset, as 19 seconds still on Jackins, 30 on Resiliency. AJ Uptown going in here. They connect with the Ziggs. They take him down. Is GGLeagues, and that will be the end. There is no way to the left. D-Jocks is just going to go down, probably through the Vayne, who picks up a triple kill. They will take down the turret, they will take down the Nexus, and they will tie this series up at 1 game apiece.
Yeah, GGLeagues performed infinitely better than last game, right? Looking at this player, they're one of the big question marks for me, honestly. They're had a few kind of Troll Kaisa relentless pursuits where they just ulted into the back line, and not in a good way. So this time, seeing him step up so much, seeing AJ Uptown as well perform so well across the map, and Andrew Smurf no longer was just kind of trading his life, hopefully, for an enemy carry. Now, you know, he was one of those carries. We saw him 1v2 practically in the enemy Nexus. So big heads up to those 3 members in particular. And also, Solo to Boss only died once. I compared to last game, he was so much more on top of things.
Yeah, just a much better performance from UHD all around, dealing with the early game pressure coming out from this top side of the map from NOTA a lot better, and able to turn that into advantages for their more scaling picks. And eventually that turns into a Baron, Ocean Soul, and they take this game pretty cleanly at the end of the day. But that ties up our series at 1-1. We will be back right after this break for the tie-breaking Game 3 in this Illinois Division A matchup between NOTA and UHD. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final game in our best of three series here between UHD and NOTA. We have gone the distance, one of the few series we've seen across our playoff brackets go the distance, and be interesting to see what happens here in this game three, Leches. Last game, NOTA pulling out a similar strategy to their first game with that Karthus, but Zig's just not quite able to do the job that Karthus was doing.
Yeah. Turns out that when you lose that kind of post-death damage, getting one shot starts to be an issue. As well, being the only damage source on your team and not actually dealing any damage, not getting ahead, is a major issue. He wasn't fed a lot of the jungle camps because Rek'Sai wanted them. He wasn't fed a lot of waves. So if they do want to run another one of these comps, if NATO do want to go back to this kind of style, which I think is fine, they have to adjust their game plan. They've got to put more eggs into Earthrider Evan's basket, because if Andrew Smurf does actually start to get online again, like he did last game, then Jadkins can't just basically 1v9 the early game, right? It's going to be more of an issue, and Earthrider Evan can't just ride out Jadkins' early pressure to the promised land of 45 minutes.
Absolutely is the case, and we will see as the bans come through that Karthus is banned again, so will not be available to NOTA. Obviously was a big part of their strategy in the early game, although it is notable that their top side of the map just played a lot better in the early game of game one than they did in game two. So we will see how they adjust to this Karthus pick being taken away again. You can see the Ziggs going again, so UHD just really tired of these AP mage, these burst mage, poke mage bot laners coming out from the side of NOTA. And as the bans wrap up with Caitlyn, they are going to lock in that first pick Ezreal, which has made it all the way through pick ban. And it'll be immediately answered by the Zillion, taken away from solo to boss. And I believe, as we mentioned last game, somebody on the side of NOTA really likes that Zillion pick, and that one manages to squeak through bans, so they will pick that one up to give some comfort to their team.
Yes, perhaps it's even Resilience himself, but we'll have to check out. His set is picked again. Although this is a flex pick, at this point, I'm starting to wonder if anybody but D-Jox is going to pick up this champion. We were talking in the last two games about how the AD pool is being pinched so much, but now it's started to open back up. Ezreal's led through. Ashe, he's still on the table. So I really do want to see if NOTA do any kind of priority towards that bot lane pickup.
Yeah, will be interesting to see what they try to prioritize. They do see the Ezreal in front of them this time. They have, I believe, seen the picks technically every game, although it does look like they planned the Karthus from the beginning. But they're going to go early. They're going to take the Vayne this time. So kind of running it, kind of a bit of a half salty run back, just the other way around, as they're going to take this Vayne away and try to enable Earthrider, who has been on these poke mages for the first two games, now in a very different situation, having the carry pants on with this high AD, consistent damage, AD carry.
Yeah, I completely agree. We're going to have to see exactly how this one does turn out, because if you think about the last two games, so much of the reason, or pardon me, just the last game, so much of the reason why AJ Uptown was able to play so aggressively while Ducky was able to get his early lead was honestly because of Zilean ults and speed boosts. AJ Uptown was just so fast in those early plays, and without that Zilean enable him, we're going to have to see if he still can have the same impact on the map.
It will be interesting to see what AJ Uptown can pull out. Has been pretty strong in both of the games so far, even in that loss in game one. Did max out the damage charts on that Victor, so has been playing super aggressive today. We'll see if he can continue it up or continue it in this one, or see if his team decides to draft him something to support that aggressive playstyle like they did in the last game. As we see the second round of bans here, a Blitzcrank, and a Shen on the side of NOTA this time around. Still not liking that Shen that Ducky piloted in game one, and the Lulu taken away here to round out, along with the Rek'Sai on the side of UHD. So are taking away some comfort from Jadkins and taking away the last play champion by 1,000 Petals.
And Volibear's up, right? And that was, yeah, here we go. Resiliency, very likely going to pick this Volibear again. Banning out the Shen, making sure that blue side here is probably going to have to respond with Ornn yet again. Or a more specific counter. Gangplank is up, Aatrox is up, Fiora is up, but I don't know if Ducky is going to be able to really pilot those champions. We're going to, because the last two games he's played Ornn and he's played, yeah, this is almost definitely the Ornn. He's played Ornn and he's played Shen, right? So he's returning to that tank. And last time in the side lane, he had a lot of success.
Yeah, absolutely did there, Lich, and I think that's probably part of the reason they have let it through pick ban here this third game on the Volibear for resiliency. Just comfortable, Ornn probably comfortable Ducky on that Ornn probably comfortable playing into it after having success in the first game, and probably in the second game. It probably felt pretty good about even the first game, how that lane and how the game state was going in general. But a Nautilus will round out the draft here for UHD. Just solid support there in general to partner with this Ezreal. And looks like 1,000 Petals will go back to that Nami that was so successful in the first game of this series. And that will be a pretty decent bot laner to help Vayne keep herself topped off against the longer range Ezreal here and provide some pick potential with that bubble. See here is the we may have, as you mentioned, with the resiliency with the Zilean name, maybe getting that Zilean top and Volibear headed into the jungle here.
Very, very likely. But finally, I was talking about how I want to see solo to boss on an engaged tank, and out comes the Nautilus, the OG. I'm personally excited to see how he pilots this champion, especially up against Nami Vayne. It is actually pretty hard to actually engage on them, even if you land a hook. If it's on Nami, she'll just bubble you or tidal wave you, or Vayne will condemn you, and if it's on Vayne, they'll pretty much do the exact same thing. So I am really kind of curious about how Solo to Boss will be able to gang up with Andrew Smurf and or AJ Uptown and impact the map, because when you pick an Ezreal, it's not to win the laning phase. You're picking this guy so that you can unlock onto the rest of the map. That is exactly what I expect to see from Solo to Boss this game.
We will see if that one plays out, as we are going to go to a spectator delay here. But when we come back, we will see who is taking this series between UHD and NOTA and who will be moving on to the second round of the Illinois League of Legends Division A playoffs. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final game in this best-of-3 series between UHD and NOTA. We can see NOTA loading in here on the red side, UHD loading in onto the blue side. And we were kind of talking about this during the delay, Leche, but talk to me about how you expect this kind of game to play out, who will be running the show at different points in the game.
Yeah, so 2 items in. Fizz and Ezreal, they're having a lovely time, right? Like, this game's going to be a picnic. 2 or 3 items. AJ Uptown's going to be just killing Earthrider Evan on repeat. Girolam is going to be having so much damage, and Andrew Smurf's going to be a happy camper as well. But when you get into those later stages, that 35 minutes plus, where Earthrider Evan starts to pop off and has a lot of the protection, where this Enchanter comes online, where Resiliency really won't let anybody in his entire team die, that's when that team's going to be going ahead.
Because both teams are 5-man stacked around this buff, and
he's going to recall?
I don't know, but NOTA doesn't know that they're there.
Oh no, AJ!
No, AJ, don't do it! AJ, no! AJ, no! What? Trickster? Oh, he's going to go down. Oh, this could be a disaster. They're actually split up here. I think multiple people are going to go down here. Solo the Boss going to take it for his mid laner there. And while multiple people don't go down, Solo the Boss does pay for the sins of his mid laner. A good support.
Yeah. AJ gets caught out there, and Solo the Boss. This time he doesn't die because he face checked, but his mid laner face checked. So the theme continues, but this time I'm not going to be as mean about it. Solo the Boss, that was definitely the right call. Don't want your Fizz to be set behind early. He's got to be able to pick up this first wave. And honestly, like at level 3, he should be having a massive advantage into Resiliency in the mid lane. At level 3, Zillion's going to have to fear for his life pretty much, because Zillion takes a while to scale up, takes a while to be able to play safe.
Yeah, and one thing to note here, we actually do have the top laner Resiliency taking his Zillion into the mid lane, and D-Jock's on the set going to go up into the top lane to match up with Ducky. So we'll have a more traditional set of matchups there instead of the Zillion into the Ornn in the top side. As you can see, junglers doing fairly normal clear as Zillion going to push in the second wave at level 2. Olaf just running on his bot side here, and nothing much doing as Ezreal and this Nautilus just holding Ain at bay. Ezreal hitting that level 2 first, both a little bit chunked here on some of the early game trades. So you have some trades in the top lane, but and these two champions not really going to be able to knock each other down this early into the game, I would assume.
Yeah, especially once he gets Haymaker. But the bot side, Thousand Petals and Earthrider Evan have actually been pretty heavily abused. If you're getting this hard abused early on, you're talking about the item spikes that are so important. If Girolam gets 2 items and Earthrider Evan isn't even close, that is a massive issue. The amount of just emptiness of no damage on your team that they're going to have early on. Vayne is going to be your 2-item carry when she gets working Ginsu's. But if she doesn't get to that point anytime soon, Zillion isn't going to be doing that much. Neither is Vayne, like we were talking about. And Volibear jungle, that guy's low econ. He's building for like a Gargoyle Stoneplate after a Cinderhulk. So I think a lot of how this early game performs is actually how little Earthrider Heaven gets behind.
Yeah, probably will be the case as they do manage to finally push that wave away. As you mentioned, a decent trade from AJ Uptown at level 3, but the erupting pot here from Zillion just going to heal himself back up. And meanwhile, we've got Andrew Smurf in the bot lane. Here comes the hook out from Solo the Boss. Will connect, but a great bubble from Thousand Petals actually connects with both Girolam and Andrew Smurf. Excellent disengage there from the support on the side of NOTA.
But now that AD has no sums, that's something that you Control A, Control C, and you paste that every 30 seconds in chat, right? Girolam and Solo the Boss want to fight, as you can just see from that hook alone. And Andrew Smurf is staying down here. Earthrider Evan has to walk up for this CS, and it's getting incredibly dangerous. But here comes Jadkins.
Jadkins going to try to connect here. Nice pullback from D-Jox. Tries to unstop.
No!
Forced to flash out, but does get away. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, here he comes again, and Earthrider Evan going to go down as the patience there. Say most of the time patience like that is a little overzealous, but the patience actually pays off in this case, and looks like Andrew Smurf will pick up that kill onto Earthrider Evan, and that's a bad sign for this Vayne that, as you mentioned, really needs to stay close to this Ezreal.
Yeah, this is This is not looking good. One bit for NOTA. Game 1, they came out swinging. They're just complete game dominance, particularly by Jadkins. It was absolutely incredible, but now, the one thing that's keeping them in this game is that first blood. I need to see more out of Jadkins. Andrew Smurf can't just be allowed to run around the map like this for free.
Yeah, absolutely is the case, but a little bit tougher for Jadkins this time. The Volibear is a strong champion, but not as strong as the Olaf in the early game. And in the early stages of the game, Rek'Sai definitely someone who feels a little bit better contesting a champion like Olaf and probably clears at a similar speed. So a little bit of struggle for Jadkins. We'll see if he can't adjust, but Olaf already impacting that bot lane, level 5, 10 CS up on his opposition jungler.
Yeah, and as Olaf, considering the map pressure that Olaf has had and how long he just sat bot side, the fact that he even has a farm lead at all is pretty impressive. Not only that, but if you move over to the Dragon, you see that he's also just taking that. And we were talking earlier about how Olaf and Rek'Sai scale. It's through these dragons early on. Every single game so far, although it's not going to be Ocean Soul this game, every single game so far, the winner has been the one who secures that Drake Soul. So getting this one early dragon signals that Andrew Smurf is going to be prioritizing that objective quite heavily.
That was some very nice work from Andrew Smurf overall, taking that dragon for absolutely free. Thinks Jadkins knew he really could not contest there, and so just slips down through the vision that they have in bot side river and able to take that one totally for free. Jadkins now hovering here on top side. Ducky not going to spot him, may catch him out, knows that he still does not have his flash. Set going to go in here. He's going to knock him back into Jadkins. Here comes the Ornhorn, going to try to knock them away. We'll get the two-man knockup, but not enough as the smite comes down to slow him down, and Djox will pick up the kill. Pretty well set up there by the jungle top from NOTA.
Yeah. That's the aggression and the plays we need to see out of Jadkins, but like you were mentioning, so much of that was DDoX is in the bot lane.
Hook does connect, but Solar Boss pretty low already, popping his shield, but here comes Andrew Smurf. Earthrider already burning down. They're looking to push his wave in. They're going to get a teleport out of Djox here to deter this dive. I will say that's probably a necessary teleport there, as that was looking bad with the cannon wave coming in under turret. Ezreal full health. That probably would have been the end of Earthrider Evan once again.
Yeah, Earthrider Evan, this guy, when he is, doing well in a game, he's doing absolutely fantastically, but here he's trying to back. He's trying to get an item so that, he can pressure this Ezreal in some way, but right now Ezreal's literally 1v2 in this lane, just having his way with the entire situation, as Earthrider Evan and Thousand Petals are constantly forced to farm under turret. And this is a real issue, because if this happens and you have an engaged support, you can try to maybe hook them or catch them out under turret, maybe just even sack the lane and roam. With an enchanter like Thousand Petals is running with the Nami, you really can't do that. And Andrew Smurf, since he's going warrior, I'm not sure why he's double taking those. Maybe he's hitting them both with axe, but he likes doing that a lot. And if it speeds up is clear, that's only going to be more farm than he is up on this Volibear, who's now leaving base.
Yeah, Andrew Smurf absolutely running this early game, and as you mentioned, Garrelin feeling great here, only on the tier, but just running this lane, keeping himself at range, throwing out the poke, a level up. Finally, 1,000 Petals taking over 2-6, and will feel great about his advantage, sitting about 15 CS up, and that's something that really needs to close up. And got to give Solar to Boss some credit as well. Has been positioning very aggressively in this lane, landing a couple of hooks and really putting the pressure that an engaged support like Nautilus should be doing onto these squishier champions on the other side.
Yeah, if a Nautilus hook lands on somebody, any of these squishy members, they're pretty much dead unless resiliency is there to save their ass. So we're going to see exactly how this does play out, but before Nautilus gets 6, before he has that depth charge, he is pretty much a one-note champ, and even after, he's pretty much a one-note champ, just not as good at it. But it seems like Jadkins might be looking to abuse that and, take him down before he does get that ultimate.
Jadkins been hovering here, now level 6, but we'll just go back to his Gromp, and Andrew Smurf also in the area. Don't think he's been spotted out yet. He's going to run in here. He's not going to quite get to this Gromp, but does spot Jadkins, so they will know he's here.
Using Flash for that might have been a really bad idea if he doesn't win this trade. Oh, that was close by both ends. Both people had to use Flash in the end.
Ducky Just managing to get out of there as the Ornhorn came through. Thought that he would have the advantage with that Ignite from his Summoner Spellbook, but Ejox piloting this set pretty well again, being tanky and immovable, and this time actually going to be going a little more aggressive. You can see already has the Bilgewater Cutlass, so planning on building that Bork for side lane pressure, something that makes the set a lot less tanky, but does make him very, very difficult to deal with for someone like Ornn in a 1v1.
Yeah, this Ornn has to build tank, right? And I think Bramblevest is really important here, because this set has very heavily signaled he's going to be going the Bork build. So if, that is what he ends up going, and he manages to not have any itemization against it, T-Jox is going to run this thing, but he goes AJ up down.
AJ Uptown's going in as well. You can see Jadkin's still being run down for 2 individual fights here. AJ Uptown going to try and wait for this ult to go down. Resiliency is getting back on her turret. He pops the Ignite.
It doesn't even matter.
Enough. It is enough, and Jadkin's going to get out with the use of his ultimate and his flash. And Andrew Smurf and AJ Uptown just running it again here. So well played there by AJ Uptown. Gets the ult out, keeps the Zilean close enough, waits for that ultimate to run out, and just presses his Ignite button. The Zilean goes down, no way to heal up there. And Jadkin's forced out in the 1v1 against Andrew Smurf, and that should just guarantee them this second Drake.
Yeah, getting Resiliency's flash for literally nothing, as it turned out, also feels so good. Because Flash, before the Zilean gets his Zonia's Hourglass, is pretty much one of the few ways that he can survive multiple engages in this matchup. Of course, every 2 minutes he's going to have that ultimate, that Chrono Shift to bring him back. Or pardon me, not Chrono Shift, but that ultimate to bring him back. But AJ Uptown's ultimate is significantly shorter cooldown than that. But meanwhile, in the top lane, Jadkin's looking to impact this matchup more already. But both junglers are actually looking to dive both of the lanes. There's the depth charge.
It looks like one might be more successful by the other, as Earth Rider Evan already down. Looks like Solo Boss will barely survive. No, 1,000 Petals will take him down with the help of the turret. Now Andrew Smurf forced to go back in. Oh my word, Andrew Smurf is doing so much damage, and this Zilean just does not have any form of DPS to take him down. He is just going to heal up off of dealing damage to that Nami. He will take her down. That is 2 kills for 1 in favor of UHD.
AJ Uptown doesn't just want to let Jadkins get this for free. He uses the chum in the water, but he's getting so much damage on Jadkins. Actually takes him down, and Djox is looking for something on him, but he hits a 2v1.
And here comes Ducky now. Does see his mid laner needs a little help, but the Playful Trickster should come back up. Does miss as Djox does a nice job of muting it with that ultimate. They're all going low, but AJ Uptown does too much damage, and he's just going to slice his way through Djox. And it's all falling apart here as Zilean ult is popped in mid lane, will manage to survive. It looks like Vayne's actually going to pick up this kill onto Andrew Smurf. Should not be able to get away. I don't know if he needed to flash for that, but will pick it up. Solo to Boss also now in trouble. It looks like this may be a double kill for Earth Rider Evan, and just as I say that, it's falling apart. Sorry, Resiliency does take that kill away with his Q, but just as I say, it's falling apart for the side of NOTA. They pick up 2 kills in the aftermath of the initial skirmish.
Yeah, Djox and Jadkins kind of caught with their pants down, to be honest, when they were looking for that Herald. They didn't have the health bars, the mana bars, or the ultimates to do what they wanted to do, and so AJ Uptown just walked up there with Ducky, took them both down, but on the other side of the map, it was Earth Rider Evan who also picks up 2 kills. And we were talking earlier about how important it is for gold to be in this Vayne's pocket. When Ezreal hits his 2 items, that main power point for this champion, someone's got to be able to return the damage.
And Ezreal still working his way up there. Does have 2 kills, sitting 2-1. A nice stun here from Resiliency, but 1,000 Petals a little bit late on the bubble, and flashes a little ashamed Yumi emote there to notify us that she was thinking the same thing we were about her being late with that bubble. So good self-awareness from 1,000 Petals. Do appreciate that. Just return to normal lane state as Nami will roam back towards her bot laner. Did finally pick up the first kill onto Earth Rider Evan. Unfortunately, that second one taken away by the Zilean Bomb, but we'll be feeling a little bit better, but still sitting about 30 CS down on this Ezreal.
Yeah, Ezreal is having a field day right now, to be honest. He is so happy. When you are, yeah, he's got a 1K gold lead. He is sitting nice right now. So having that, being able to easily get that mana immune and have the time to spare to stack it up is so important, especially for Ezreal, who in pro play, He really, really needs that mana immune to be upgraded to a Muramana by the 3rd dragon, but with the speed that Olaf has been taking it, that's okay. Here's the depth charge, and Earth Rider Evan, I didn't even have time to hand off the cast. He just gets obliterated. 1 hook is all it takes.
Oh, Leche, he's falling for the classic silver strats there. Beating in the bush for so long. I think the Ezreal gave up like 4 or 5 CS to convince Earth Rider Evan that nothing was wrong, that nobody was around in that bot lane, and Nautilus, solo to boss, just sitting in that lane on common, probably just be like, shh, 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 stay quiet, we're gonna get her. And she walks right into it, and that's her 3rd death. They will take down the 1st turret, and the lead just continues to extend in that bot lane. We do see a teleport here coming out from DJox, but it's a little late as AJ Uptown is already retreated. Gonna get sped up here, gonna try to get on AJ Uptown, but the Playful Trickster is up, so it doesn't even throw out his E, the face breaker there, and will just return to top lane. Not the worst effort, but a little bit mistimed again by the side of NOTA, and they're just starting to watch things sort of bleed away from them as Ornn gets some free time on this turret. Nothing happening in mid lane. AJ Uptown sitting at 3-0-0 again, and he's just starting to get a little bit harder for NOTA.
Yeah, it seems like whenever NOTA try and make a TP play or, speed up Jadkins so that he can look for a stun, it just never quite happens. They're always just, it seems like, one tiny bit away from following through and actually forcing out DJox's flash.
He's going to flash immediately. Bubble comes out but does not connect. They're looking for AJ Uptown, but he does get away from Jadkins' CC.
What is his horn?
He doesn't connect. Here comes the Ornn in the back. It's 3 people with this ult with 1,000 petals already down to half health. Jadkins has the ult on him, the Zillion ult on him. They will take down one member as Earth Rider Evan is free firing here. Does get the Nautilus ult on top of him. They have taken down the Ezreal, and it's falling apart here for UHD. Earth Rider Evan is free firing now. Does take some poke from this Olaf, but will manage to get healed up by 1,000 petals, and they should be able to take this dragon. It looks like Andrew Smurf going to hang around to see if he can get a smite, but I'm a little surprised at UHD. Oh, hold on here as Jack is flashing in, connects with AJ Uptown. Here comes the face breaker, and they're going to take down solo to boss. Andrew Smurf's so low, he's probably going to go down.
What?
Oh, he flashes back in, he gets a smite down, but doesn't quite connect with the dragon. It ends up being taken by Vayne, of all people, with that 3rd auto. And oh man, I think NOTA might have just found their way back into this game, Leche.
Yeah, I think they have too. Denying that 3rd crucial dragon from Andrew Smurf. He knew exactly how important it was, flashing in, but missing the smite by like 150 health. It was so close, but just not meant to be. And NOTA are the ones who pick up that Infernal Dragon, and, we were talking earlier about how they scale better into the late game. Every 5 minutes you delay that Dragon Soul is another 5 minutes that you have on this map. So it is so important to make sure that you can get those, and this time it was a real dicey fight, but they do come out on top.
It looked pretty bad at the start, and Flash immediately forced out from DJox, and it looked pretty solid there, but I'm not sure exactly what happened to Gearlim. I think he might have gotten jumped on by Volibear, but was CC'd and just burst down. And with the Ezreal gone, AJ Uptown not able to get on top of Earth Rider Evan. And once that Vayne saw the Ezreal down and a couple of spells, CC spells out, he just ran forward and started to take down members. And see her being aggressive now onto solo to boss, proccing that press the attack and her 3rd bolt there, taking about half his health off of him. He's starting to scale up here on 1 item, working on 2 now. There is still some time before she'll be super strong, but is definitely in a better position than she was just about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, getting closer to Ginsu's every single second. But here, Jadkins, who in game 1 dictated pretty much the whole thing, right? It was super, super pivotal. Whoa, the Horn.
And he throws down the exhaust, gets 1 brittle proc, will get the 2nd one. Resiliency's ult is just going to be used.
I think he dies.
What? He can take this turret as Ezreal ult misses. There, he's going to live as the ult comes in from Fizz, but enough backup arrives from the side of NOTA that they deter the engagement. But Lillian very low, will need some Nami heals, but still will be about half health if they want to fight this. There are multiple ults down on the side of UHD, just the Nautilus and the Olaf ult remaining, but they're going to start up this Rift Herald anyway. Nope, they will just back off, knowing that they may be at a disadvantage with four ultimates available for the side of NOTA, just to the 2 of UHD, so they will just reset. And again, this is a good delay for the side. No, actually, they're going to jump on Solo DeBoss as the flash under turret. Nice use of the stopwatch there, as the turret aggro was immune by that Volibear ultimate. And Solo DeBoss will fend off that engagement. They are still looking to pressure this mid lane turret, but a lot of members are here. D-Jock's already going low. Solo DeBoss going to connect with his hook. Out comes Nami ult to disengage. Bubble does not quite connect. They do get the Q onto AJ Uptown, but not enough damage. I can see Vayne chasing down this Olaf. Uh-oh, here comes... will block the Nautilus hook, but D-Jox does go down, and Vayne so low gets healed up by the Nami, trying to auto from the side, but it's a double kill for Ezreal. He's going to E into the Vayne. She's going to go down. It's a triple kill for Ezreal. AJ Uptown trying to run onto the Zillion. He will get his ultimate down, but the whole team is here, and that's going to be 4, and that's going to be Baron for UHD, and it flip-flops again, Leche.
UHD are putting themselves in a nice position to take this game, this series away from NOTA, who had such an incredible game 1, but now UHD are the ones with the momentum. Andrew Smurf had so much global pressure, and AJ Uptown on this Fizz, he has been absolutely insane, and Girolom going for the Triforce, so he's going to be putting out so much damage once he finishes these 2 items.
Absolutely will be the case, and I gotta say, on the side of AJ Uptown, gotta give him props here. I feel like he should have died so many more times than he has. Am I wrong? Like, he's sitting at 6-0-2. I think he died 1 time last game, maybe like twice in the first game, and it just feels like he should have died like 6 times every game, but he somehow squeaks his way out of all of these fights.
As a big Uptowner, big fan of him now, I'm going to have to say that he's exactly where he needs to be, 6-0-2. He's so slippery in these fights and plays them just so well, in and out, exactly how he needs to be. This being said, we were talking about at the beginning of the game, how exactly both these teams need to play, where their power points are, and UHD have already been just whooping ass in this early game, and now they're at that 2-item power spike I was talking about earlier. Ashe doesn't have her Ginsus yet. Where is the damage going to come from? Where is just all of the utility as well going to be in these team fights? And NOTA can't just give over these next 2 dragons to scale up. That is soul. That's Infernal Soul. On a poke comp? You can't give that.
And they are hovering around. They will probably take this one for free. You can see Ezreal does now have his Trinity Force completed, and is that too... Well, hold on, as there's an engage here. Jackin's going in, D-Jock's going in on a solo boss, but he procs his Stoneplate. So tanky with the enhanced stats. Jackin's is already so low. D-Jock's going down. Girolom is still safe, but Jackin's going down. Girolom now on the backside has been taken out. There's no damage left. They're just going to try to run everyone down. Nami needs to connect this bubble, but she is dead as well. And it's just Zillion remaining. That's the 3rd Drake, and the Baron buff is still on every single member of UHD. They are probably going to burst into this base as well, Leche.
Girolom pumped out just an absolutely absurd amount of damage that fight. And he managed to just arcane shift away from every possible threat. I think D-Jox almost got on him at one point, but this guy's got to die. And I know it's hard when AJ Uptown is all up in your business, but Girolom is just so strong right now.
And that is the nature of the Ezreal. Such a slippery champion when his Flash and E are up, even with the cooldown reduction nerfs recently to that Ezreal. As his CDR pressed 40%, it just gets so hard to get on top of this champion. And with how much he's been put ahead, now sitting on that huge 2-hour power spike, along with the Bilgewater Cutlass for his Blade of the Ruin King, he is just so hard to take down and deals so much damage in these team fights. And now UHD going to retreat with 1 inhibitor turret down, their Baron buff starting to wear off. 1 more Drake in 4 minutes here, Leche. If they can take that, that should pretty much be the end of this game.
Be quite frank with you, it is not looking good for NOTA. They need Vayne to hit her Ginsus ASAP. They need Zillion to finish his Archangel Staff as soon as possible. And there's still 3 refillable potions in their inventories. These need to be sold, turned into pink wards. They need some sweepers and blue wards. They have got to push into their jungle and get back some kind of control, some semblance of control in this game. NOTA have to do something to get it back before it's too late. When this Infernal Soul is given over, Girolom's going to be dealing a ton of damage. AJ Uptown's going to be dealing a ton of damage. Solo DeBoss probably is going to be dealing more damage than most of the members on NOTA's team. So they have to be able to deny it, and right now they just don't have the vision control or resources to do it.
Absolutely is the case as we finally see that Rage Blade take over for the Vayne, but still nothing for the second item on Zillion. And as you mentioned, just not enough wards in the inventory. Only 2 on the side of NOTA here as Volibear does go in, gets a speed boost, and is going to ult, but actually gets knocked up. Is going to have to stopwatch here as the Ornal comes in. It's timed perfectly and knocks up 2. Here's a flank from Set. Does get a great ultimate down, but some free firing now from Rift does have the Zillion all on top, but it's just too much. They're too tanky, and GGLeagues is untouched again. He's going to connect with the Arcane Ship. He's going to take down Rift Rider Evan. He's going to take down Resiliency. That is 3 kills. 4 kills on the side of UHD, and this is looking like it might be the end of the game as they're going to move into mid lane, take down this inhib. If they can catch this wave in top lane, which has already been pushed in by Andrew Smurf, yeah, I think this is just the end. I think UHD has done it, and Ezreal, GGLeagues is so strong, just taking down 1,000 Petals to add to the KDA. The teleports come out, the Nexus goes down, and UHD wins this matchup and advances to the next round of the playoffs.
Absolutely massive improvements of play from just across the board from UHD. Ducky was pretty consistent, really, kind of a rock that whole game. But Andrew Smurf, game 1 compared to game 2 and 3, I don't know if this guy's an Olaf one trick, but it was night and day compared to his Rengar. AJ Uptown on this Fizz, how slippery he was in these team fights, how just across the map he was, and the amount of pressure he was able to exert as well was just completely different. And GGLeagues in game 1, a absolutely just underwhelming performance, not only in terms of the pick, but also with what he could actually do in those team fights. And I know it was hard, but when he's put on this Ezreal and this Vayne, he just becomes a completely different player as well. Solo to boss only died 4 times this game. That's improvement.
And you look at the damage charge, 23,000 coming out from this Ezreal, absolutely running over this game. And AJ Uptown, deathless once again, just running away with this Fizz. And huge improvement from UHD after a rough game 1 with that Karthus pick from NOTA. Do want to give some credit to NOTA pulling out a very distinct strategy in their first 2 games, trying to center around some of this AP bot lane burst damage. Worked very well on the Karthus, but as soon as that Karthus was banned from UHD and kind of got their heads together, were able to mostly control the remainder of the 2 games, and that will push them into a 2-1 win and push them into the next round of the playoffs.
When you're putting so many eggs into the Earth Rider Evan basket, I mean, you've got a strong front line, you've given him a Zillion ultimate, and also, just Nami, giving him an enchanter at all. And then you don't play around the bot side at all. There's just some stylistic changes that I think we need to see from the red side.
Could be the case, but they will have to look to do that in the next season as UHD will be moving on in the bracket. Do want to say thank you to everyone that has tuned in here tonight. That will do it for us for tonight, for this week. But for any information about GGLeagues' upcoming schedule, please do check us out on all of our social media pages below. Keep an eye on the schedule for the playoffs. It is a public bracket, so you can see what will be happening next week. And we will catch you next week for round 2 of the playoffs. Once again, I am DJ, joined by Leche. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and have a wonderful weekend, all of you gamers. Good night.